into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune to my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Good morning, good looking. Welcome to it. It is the 7th of the 7th. So if you're into lucky numbers, today could be the luckiest day of the year. Welcome to it. My name is Graham Richards.
And I'm Zoe Brown, and we are in for a treat today because you know what? Today's one of those days where we celebrate probably the small pleasures in life, and because it's World Chocolate Day.
Wow.
It's World Chocolate Day today, and you know what? It is probably one of my favorites days because I can't stop eating chocolate.
I've been denying myself the pleasure of chocolate today. Maybe I will break that vow, and we are going to certainly offer you about 1 million ways to enjoy chocolate this morning. It's been scientifically proven, in fact, that it does actually boost your mood. We've spoken a lot about getting dopamine going in the brain. Chocolate is a way to do that. So it's only fitting that on your Feel Good Breakfast show this morning, we explore all of the wonders of the delicious dessert, if you can call it that, and we're going to whip it up in as many different ways as we can. In the kitchen, we will be making chocolate slices and chocolate bread pudding with custard, and then Clem is going to share his must-have baking essentials before he makes hidden center chocolate brownies.
Oh my
Can you see the ooze? I can picture the ooze.
It is, today's the day. If you're on a diet, I'm so sorry. We are apologizing in advance, but something that might get you grooving a little bit and moving. We have Rhythm Fusion in studio today. They're a 6-piece Afro jazz band, and they're going to be bringing us all of those smooth tunes, so you do not want to miss out on anything coming up on your Feel Good Breakfast show for the next 3 hours.
Completely. They've been laying down the funk, and someone who's already got his chocolate on this morning. I can hear all sorts of mouth sounds coming from this side of the studio. Good morning, birthday boy. How you doing, brother?
Sorry, guys. I'm getting stuck in the show way too early here, but good morning, you beautiful souls. Thank you for joining us. It's the middle of the week. 7, I'm in heaven. You heard it, yes, the 7th of July. Yesterday was my birthday. I'm still rushing off a beautiful high. Thank you for everybody that came through and shared the love. Today we're talking about one of my big loves, and it's one of my biggest kryptonites as well. I don't know how to say no to it, and it's all things chocolate. And that's why we're asking you this morning, what's the weirdest combination that you've had with chocolate? Now, I've heard of some crazy things when it comes to chocolate. For me, though, and I think this is really nice, although you might not be weirded out by it, have you ever tried this? This is my favorite. Malted chocolate that dries over a slice of watermelon. Yeah. Think about that, Mzansi. Watermelon covered in chocolate. That and a whole lot of chocolate inspiration and so much more magic coming at you this morning on your Feel Good Breakfast show. But before we kick into it, let's find out what's happening with Jamie Lee in the news.
Ta-da! It's Zoe today, but it's okay. Thank you, Ryle. I'm going to start with your national headlines for this morning. The Pietermaritzburg High Court yesterday reserved judgment in the matter brought by former President Jacob Zuma, which sought to have his arrest and imprisonment stayed pending his contempt of court rescission application set for next week. The ruling will be delivered on Friday morning. Zuma was ordered to hand himself over to the police station in Nkandla or Johannesburg on Sunday after being convicted of contempt of court by the Constitutional Court last week and sentenced to 15 months in prison over his refusal to appear before the Zondo Commission. And Cape Town has been ranked as one of the best cities in the world for people to work remotely. This, according to a new study by global housing rental platform Nestpick. Scoring 16th out of the list of 75 cities, the mother city ranked higher than locations such as New York, Athens, and Barcelona. The index score was based on a range of factors, including the cost of living, infrastructure, leisure activities, and overall livability. The Australian city of Melbourne was found to be the best city for remote working. Moving to news abroad, drones equipped with lasers and thermal technology are being used in Angola to find some of the thousands of active landmines scattered across the vast country. The government has invested heavily in removing the mines, a legacy of the civil war nearly 2 decades ago, in the hopes that it can open up and develop much of the country for tourism and other industries. The drones are used to map out mine lines across the country, allowing humans to manually clear the mines more rapidly and safely. And debris of a passenger plane which went missing in the Russian Far East yesterday, carrying 22 passengers and 6 crew members, has been found. An 26 aircraft lost contact with air traffic control around only 9 kilometers from Palana Airport and 10 minutes before it was scheduled to land. It's thought unlikely that anyone survived the crash. Unconfirmed reports say it hit a rock amidst poor weather conditions while coming in to land, after which it then crashed on the coast. And next, 2021's Durban July was truly a historic event. Ashwin Reynolds of Cape Town says he's chuffed to be part of SA's history. Last Saturday, he became the first person from a previously disadvantaged group owning a horse which won Africa's major race, the Durban July. 3-year-old Comedy Ding became only the 4th horse this century to win from the wildest draw of all. Reynolds, a building contractor, always loved horses. He grew up in Grassy Park on the Cape Flats and lost his father when he was 8, forcing him to leave school to work and help his mother. But he always cherished the dream of owning a horse which would win the July. He expressed his heartfelt thanks to the people of the Cape Flats for supporting and shouting for Comedy Ding. And about his horse's unusual name, he explained, and I quote, "It's Afrikaans slang from the Cape Flats. It means bring it on, and as in I'm not scared, bring it on." Well, on that happy note, that's where I leave your morning headlines. Here is a first look at your sport with Graham.
Thanks so much. So, not the best note to start with this morning in rugby. The fixture between the British and Irish Lions and the Bulls, scheduled to take place on Saturday, has now been postponed, and the second test between the Springboks and Georgia is also being reviewed due to positive COVID-19 cases. So 4 Bulls players and 1 member of the management team returned positive tests, and then 4 Bok players, Marvin Ori, Frans Steyn, Andre Pollard and Frans Malherbe, along with head coach Jacques Ninaba, have all tested positive for the coronavirus. Then on to the shorter format of the game in Rugby Sevens. Springbok Sevens head coach Neil Powell has said his final team selection for the Tokyo Olympics was not easy, but he'll travel with confidence after choosing the fittest and healthiest team. So Team South Africa's Rugby Sevens squad for the global showpiece will include Olympic bronze medalist Justin Geduld and the most experienced Blitzboks Branko de Preer and Chris Dry. Siviwe Soezwapi has been named as captain, while Ruan Nel will travel to Japan with the team as a backup player. And fourth-seeded South Africa will face Ireland, Kenya and a tough one, the USA, in Pool C. Then back home for football, the 67th minute goal by Swallows FC midfielder Kagiso Malinga confirmed a 1-0 victory for Bafana Bafana against Botswana in their CASAFA Cup Group A match at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. Despite the victory, South Africa did not claim top spot in the group after Eswatini beat Lesotho 3-1 to go on top. Bafana will face Eswatini in their second group stage match on Friday, and that one's at 3 p.m. at Wolfson Stadium. And staying with the beautiful game on the biggest stage of them all, Italy have booked their place in the Euro 2020 final after beating a very spirited and much improved Spain in a hard-fought match at the Wembley Stadium last night. Federico Chiesa opened the scoring for the Azzurri at the hour mark, but Alvaro Morata, definitely a star on the night, equalised for La Roja, making it 1 apiece by full time. The match then went into extra time, and Italy eventually clinched the win in a penalty shootout, winning 4-2. So the winner of the second semi-final between England and Denmark will face the Azzurri in the final on Sunday, and that match between the Three Lions and the Danes will kick off at 9 p.m. this evening. Then on to athletics. What a message to send ahead of the Olympics. Akani Simbine set a new South African and African record in the 100-meter sprint at the 2021 Golgai Istvan Memorial Meet in Hungary yesterday. The 27-year-old crossed the line in an incredible time of 9 9.84 seconds, beating the previous record of 9.85 seconds by Nigeria's Olusoji Fasuba, rather. Simbine finished ahead of USA's Michael Rogers and Marvin Bracey. That while former world and Olympic champion Justin Gatlin, he finished in sixth. Well, on that very exciting note is where we round off our sporting headlines for now. Let's get a global perspective on the weather and see what the temperatures have in store here in South Africa.
A very good morning, South Africa. My name is Jamie Domberg, reporting live for duty on this Wednesday. Now, starting with your international weather news first, wildfires wreaking havoc in Australia, enormous mudslides in Japan, and oceans temperatures on the rise. While climate change is a very present fact, it's also affecting bumblebees, the exclusive pollinators of certain plants, and a crucial presence on farms and in gardens. Now, they are one of nature's best pollinators. Now, unlike honeybees, they are able to venture into colder weather, making them vital to the reproduction of plant species in cool climates. But these amazing insects are unable to cope with extreme temperatures, and as the world heats up, their populations are dwindling. Now, we all can help protect these wonderful insects by rewilding our gardens, planting more trees, and creating log piles, giving them a shady spot to rest. Now, most important, they have no defense against the heat. They depend on us to take the sting out of climate change, and we can all do our bits. Now, as many of our regular viewers have seen, we are highlighting different international cities on a Friday to learn about the different languages and cultures. Now, this Friday, we are journeying to Ethiopia. Now, with that being said, we would like to make a call to any of our viewers that are based there or have even visited the country. We would love to see any pictures of the country that you would like to share. So please head on over to the Expresso Facebook page if you would like to see your photo featured this Friday. And then, of course, bring it back to South Africa. We do have some sunrise views of the local areas to also share that have been submitted by our viewers. And we start off in Pretoria, where Emil Kukumur shared this bright image of what looks like a typical crisp winter morning for the area as the sun rises. We received another one from Faisal Sharval, who didn't share his location, but we are loving this peaceful image showing the sky transitioning from dark to light pink as the day begins. Now, please do continue to share your sunrise photos with us on the Expresso Facebook page, and don't forget, if you live or have visited anywhere in Ethiopia, to please share those photos with us too. Right now, though, it's time to have a first look at the temperatures for today. We start off with you, Polokwane. Do expect a low of 6 today that will peak at a 20. If you do find yourself in Umbombela, expect a range of 10 to 27. Pretoria, for you, sunshine coming your way with a low of 6 and a high of 20. And if you find yourself in Johannesburg, it ranges from 7 to 17. Mahikeng, 421. Klerksdorp, for you, it is 320. And then Kimberley can be seen with temperatures ranging from 8 to 22. Bloemfontein, for you, it is 120. Richards Bay, 1424. And if you find yourself in Pietermaritzburg today, do expect a minimum of 7 and a maximum of 24. South Africa's playground at Durban ranges from 15 to 23. In Tata, for you, it is 523. East London coming through with a minimum of 14 and a maximum of 20. And then Craddock ranges from 6 to 22 today. Gqeberha, for you, it is 1019. If you're out and about in George, expect a low of 9 and a high of 18. The mother city, Cape Town, can expect a range of 9 to 17. And then Worcester coming through with a low of 9 and a high of 22. Sutherland, 615. And then last but definitely not least, Uppington ranges from 12 to 26. Well, that is where I leave your weather update here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Thank you, Jamie. And you know what? For children to fall in love with literature and reading, they need to hear and read stories in languages that they understand. Yet, South Africa faces a critical lack of children's literature in African languages, and Cadbury Dairy Milk, they've delivered that these storybooks motivate and inspire children to learn to read. So they are on a mission to make sure that that is possible.
And literacy is such a big issue in our country. So many of our children leave school, high school, without being fully literate. And we take it for granted, but it needs to start somewhere. Absolutely.
Language as well, gee, just to lose that connection to themselves, so important. You're so right.
Man. And you learn about yourself, you learn about your culture. The essence of things is found in the language. So we've been having a whale of a time translating various words, trying our very best to translate words, hashtag in our own words, focusing on different South African languages in the hopes of inspiring you to do the same. And we're going to continue on that trend this morning. I'm laughing nervously because this one, it looks like quite a challenging word for us. And we're going to continue translating into Tsonga, which is another very widely spoken language, obviously here in South Africa. Tabiso's home language, actually.
Yes.
And the word that we are trying to translate today is smiled. Smiled in the past tense. Okay, so I'm going to give it a crack.
You going to give it a go?
Yes, gee, let's go.
Waitarile.
Waitarile.
Yeah.
Okay,
That is
Waitarile.
smiled.
I like that. And I hope
add-
that we can get Waitariles from everybody on the show today, especially with all the magic coming through, right?
Yeah, completely, man. I love that. Well, if you can show us how to use that in a sentence, I'd really like that as well. Maybe you can start the premise of our story with the who that smiled, the why they were smiling. Give us some examples of how you would apply this in your own language.
There we go, and help ensure that all children can enjoy, enchanting African languages tales in their own languages by translating just one word and co-authoring a library of African language children's storybooks, hashtag in our own words.
Yeah, and all you got to do, of course, is visit Cadbury.co.za and, of course, the @Cadbury Dairy Milk Essay on our Facebook or Cadbury_Essay on Twitter and Instagram, and you can start sharing your words. Yeah.
See how that made me smile.
Yeah.
Smiling the whole time.
Tiwarile.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, everybody. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show on S3. If no one's told you this morning, happy World Chocolate Day to all the chocolate lovers all over the world. Now, to celebrate the occasion, we are diving into a world where all desserts want to do is find their feet and have a little bit of fun.
That's right, and our main character wakes up to find that he's offbeat while everyone else has found their rhythm, and madcap adventures ensue in the short animated film called Crumbs. It was created by third-year students from the animation school in 2016. 16, but let's take a look.
No. Oh, God.
Ever after. The dessert did remind me of Raul, though, always out of beat for some reason. But it's okay.
Oh, well, listen, it was so cute and some great lessons to take from that, because getting in step to the rhythm of life can be tricky, but a fun way for our children to really, you know, find a way to express themselves and really explore their environments through messy play.
Yeah, and registered counsellor Shanaz Moos is on standby right now to give us more information about this.
Yes, indeed. Registered counsellor and good friend of the show, Shanaz Moos, is here. She is joining us this morning to talk about the importance of messy play and the benefits for a child's development. A brilliant way to set the scene, Shanaz. That was just the cutest little animation. We were worried that, I'm going to call him Jerry, the gingerbread man wasn't going to find his place in this world, but with the other misfits, he found it. And sometimes it is just about letting a child find their own way. We want to put them in a box. We want them to succeed. We want them to grow and develop. But we are designed to do that ourselves through play. So what is messy play? How would you define it?
I think messy is quite a straightforward word, and people cringe when they hear messy play, especially moms. But messy play is sensory play. That's actually what it is.
Play,
experiencing play through your senses. So it's different textures. It's liquid. It's, you know, there's so many ways, and it's messy. Obviously, let's add water. Let's add sand. Okay.
But Play-Doh works quite well.
What do you think is going to happen when you mix all those wonderful activities together? But I mean, the amount of learning that takes place, man, through that, you can't replace it with something else.
And it's good for the mind. I've realized that with my son, to have the freedom to go and do this unstructured, messy play is really good for his spirit. Like, it just allows him to just be himself, and it's amazing to watch the imagination just expand. You can see the world that he's creating around him. You talk about sensory development. What is actually going on with this messy play? What is happening when it comes to their development?
So obviously, you know what, there's a whole lot of great benefits that happen when we allow children frequent messy play, not once a month or once a week, like as often as possible, and that it works on kids' cognitive ability, their reasoning, problem solving, all of those things. You won't believe it, yes, through messy play. The other thing is motor skills. You know what, the one thing with Play-Doh, man, I don't know how you feel about Play-Doh, but I never allowed Play-Doh when my older kids were small because it made a mess everywhere. Like, it was, you couldn't just contain it. It just had a life of its own.
Me, because he constantly mixes the colours. And you're like, dude, now how are we supposed to separate the green and the blue for the... Do you just want brown Play-Doh? Fun. You know? So that experience, that's your motor skills, you know, which kids need for handwriting. Completely.
You know, so all of these things are linked, and also there's also like a language. When you do messy play, you let them explore. So you talk about soft, hard, things like that. So they're learning adjectives and description. So it's like a lot of stuff. And if you think about it, put another form of play in it, do you get all the same things?
I love the fact that there is structured play and unstructured play. And I think the structured play, as much as we want to feel it's for our kids, it's more for ourselves and our vision of what we want them to become. So we put them in a play ball, or we make them play football, and they have no concept of what that is. They do it because it's fun and it's engaging and it gets them going. The idea that they can have freedom to be able to play and get messy is great. Are parents doing it enough? Do you think that we give our children enough freedom?
I think no, because the idea of mess is too much, and the idea that what's its purpose. People don't understand the learning element of messy play, which is why people don't actually do it. And when you give a child messy play, you don't have an end goal, man. You don't say, Jack, at the end of this, you will be able to count 2. You know, no. You actually say, we are playing with these beads or these cars or whatever, and we're burying them in the sand, or, you know, I'm trying to think, and we're finding them. Let's count them. So you can a little bit. Let's count the cars as we find them. But that's not the end goal. So we make sure we got all of them. And that's the kind of thing that I think, you know, you can have learning in that way, but that's not the aim of it.
Not the end goal. And there is a huge amount of entertainment value in letting your child lead proceedings and actually seeing. You can learn so much about them and what they like and what they want in their little worlds by letting them lead the process. You've touched on this. What do you do for those parents who are a little OCD, that are and yes, I know, cleaning your house constantly, it can be a thing. It's not, I'm taking nothing away from say, a single parent who's having to keep a house clean and look after kids and work and. All of that being said, what advice do you have for parents who do struggle with the cleanliness element of messy play?
So, you know what? Messy play, as though it sounds, you just think it's a mess. But messy play needs an organized space, if that makes any sense to you. You need to have an area. The ideal would be outdoors, but obviously with weather and people where they live, they may not have an outdoor option. So you need to create an indoor space.
Whether it's a corner.
That is a plastic table, plastic tablecloths, everything that can be wiped off or thrown out. And do not put your child's Eid or Christmas outfit on to play. Put on the most tattiest, thing that you probably should have thrown out, but you don't mind getting full of paint or whatever. So that's like that. If you outside, yes. Inside, if you have to. And the bath is a natural place for play.
So let them just have a bit of fun.
And there's so many cute, there's, what's this thing called? It's crayons, it's bath crayons.
For sure.
For drawing.
You even get bath Play-Doh that's like a...
So you get all these cool things that you can include as part of messy play.
Sorry, within minutes, Jack is... I've actually found him completely naked with airplane socks on his arms and his feet. Just got to let them do what they need to do to be free. We're going to continue the chat around messy play and why it is so vital for your child's development. Stick around.
So cute.
Just picturing Jack, just you.
Oh, adorable. And while we've just learned about the importance of messy play, and while it's all fun and games for the kids, the parents have to deal with all the mess. But cleaning can be made easy.
That's right, Mzandi. So tomorrow, listen up. One lucky viewer is going to stand the chance to win a Samsung 9 kg front loader washing machine with ad wash technology, plus an Oma wash days hamper for tough stain removal, even in a quick wash. I mean, come on, people. What's more not to love with this competition? Whoa!
There we go.
So studio's going crazy, of course. It's that important. And what a perfect way to get that messy play on, right?
That's right. So make sure to tune in tomorrow morning to find out how exactly for you to enter and walk home with this absolutely state-of-the-art washing machine. Who knows? That lucky winner could be you. Trust us, you don't want to miss this.
Yeah.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. A little bit earlier, we spoke about the importance of getting those hands and knees and the hair and the face and most of your house dirty with our children. The benefits of messy play are many, and we're continuing that conversation now with registered counsellor Shanaz Moos. Really fun topic because it could open a gateway for you to have a lot of fun with your kids, and also for them to have a lot of fun and fulfillment. But I'm guessing, and I've seen from kind of Jack's trajectory, that messy play changes. How does it differ from age to age?
Yeah, so with I think 6 months is the age you can actually start. And guess what they're going to mess with?
Hands,
their food. So you actually give them their food. I remember my daughter throwing sweet corn up onto the ceiling. Don't ask me how she managed that. So it stayed there for...
It's confetti.
For a long time. But I mean, that was like tactile, so they want to see how does this feel. Then they go into the ear, they miss their mouth, but that's all part of it. But as they move along, you can introduce more things that's safer for them. But there isn't like an age where you say, okay, you outgrown that, you can't do that. It's just if the child still is drawn to an activity, do it. If the child is repulsed or afraid because the sensory is too much, Some kids are sensitive to sounds and textures and things, so you can't just put them in an environment they may start
they don't like
screaming.
it.
You think it's cool. You want to roll around in the foam and whatever.
Because you want to be the better parent, you're forcing it on your child. Yeah.
You want to Instagram the whole thing because that's what's trending. So, so pay attention to the child and how the child responds to the messy play. So up until toddler age, there's still ways that you can play. Mud. What about mud? When a child sees mud or a puddle, and I'm like, you must have your wellies on before you jump in. And my son was like, nope.
The puddle must be splashed.
It is here.
No, it is.
Now,
but I've watched. I've seen Jack's little face. It's a compulsion. They just can't help it. Something I've started doing with Jack now, and it often ties into a special occasion where I want him to feel like he's emotionally invested in the process. So it's Mother's Day or it's Mom's birthday. Baking. How do you feel about baking? Does that again rest on your ability to let go of the need of keeping a clean kitchen?
So yeah, I have a story about baking. So when my daughter was in grade 2, we had all the girls in the class come over, and I handed my kitchen over. How old are they? 8, 9? I gave my kitchen to 14 little girls, and they made chocolate chip biscuits, which they were going to take home. So from the measuring to the kneading, everyone had their little, and that sensoriness, that it's actually soothing. That the part about baking is that. But if you're going to come and wipe every counter, level the teaspoon, you actually take the joy out of the baking. And the best part about baking is that at the end there's something yummy.
There's a result.
So they all went home with a little bag of cookies and the recipe. For them, if they wanted to make it with their moms, as a little thank you. But so baking is fun. You mess and you eat. You get to eat your mess.
And just be prepared, though, that it will get messy, and just kind of divorce yourself from that need to control the space.
I hope.
At what point, because I've, as I mentioned earlier, I have great joy in watching Jack kind of do his own thing, but obviously there's an age where, when they are really young, you've got to involve it. How involved should a parent be in messy play or free play? How much freedom should we give our children to guide the process?
So obviously you're going to be supervising a baby, a toddler, right? You're going to be there close by all the time. And if they come towards you with an item, you are now invited into the play. So you must not say no.
Okay.
So that's it. You were mentioning about being invited into their world. That's children's world is play. So they're saying, come, play. Or they're busy eating at 8 months and they want to feed you. I refuse to open my mouth, but okay, if you are willing. So this is the interactiveness. The child is holding that card. I will choose. So younger kids, you cannot leave. Older kids, you're like close by, or, you're like, I'm just going to sit here while you do that. And I had a message from a woman yesterday because I posted something about to be playful. It lightens life. And she said she took her kids to the beach and she ended up rolling in the sand with them, which she'd never, ever done. And she had so much fun, only because she had this thing in her mind, be playful today. It lightens the heaviness. So she was like
just
rolling
let it go, yeah.
And that's because we need permission as parents to be told, hey, Graham, do you want to play with Jack?
Yeah, let go of your
Take 5 minutes and go and play. So we want someone to tell us we should play, or now is a good time. So with often having to want messy play, we as parents for our kids need to structure time. Say between 4 and 4:30, that's a messy play. That's before bath time. So you're smart here. So you're thinking, okay, this is messy play time. You set up the area, the paint, whatever it is we're doing today. And if the child says, I don't want to paint, then you move on. It's not like in your mind, we're painting.
Yeah, you're not failing if they don't want to do that thing.
I'm creating a masterpiece, an artist here, but the child's like, no. So you've got to move away from the play of paint play to
let the child guide the process. I love that, and I think a big take-home here, create a messy space. Create a place where your child can be free so you don't have the anxiety of needing to control the environment. But most importantly, take a bit of time to let your child be free, and you might also discover a greater joy and freedom in that yourself. Shanaz, thank you so much. Right now, we're going to go make a mess in the kitchen. I think we're making chocolate slices.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, we've got the two biggest kids in the kitchen right now, so you're going to definitely need to excuse the mess that comes up. And the kids are baking, and we're calling all chocolate lovers this morning. Of course, you heard the theme, and if you have a sweet tooth, then this indulgent recipe is just for you. Now it's our Clover Bliss chocolate slices, yeah? You heard correctly, and they're made with just a few ingredients and will absolutely satisfy your chocolate craving in one instant. And here to show us how is myself and Jamie Lee Dumbo.
Yay.
Jamie, we got a big task on our hand here.
I know you have a sweet tooth.
I do. It's
I know you're a
kryptonite.
chocolate lover, so
Cannot say
this
no.
is going to be next level for you. Are you even ready to do this?
I am. I don't know what you're doing on your side. I was just told to handle a pastry.
Yeah,
And I'm going to
that's what
come
we trusted
through
you
that.
with.
That's what we trusted me with. Okay. So let me get on to it.
Yes.
This is a puff pastry, I believe. I bought it in a roll like this, so it's already half the convenience for me because I don't really know how to actually make it myself yet.
You
we're
clearly
getting
weren't on the show last week when I failed miserably. The thing was rolling and...
Were you making some dough?
Oh, it was bad. It was bad. But anyway, you get to redeem us this morning.
So this is pretty cool. And what we're essentially doing, it's like a modern version of like a long panini or like a flat Gatsby, something along those lines. So what we're going to prepare is our two sides, or our tops and bottoms. And I'm just going to kind of just make sure that I've got a nice straight rectangle that I'm working with before I actually get really involved here. So very simple. I take my roll, slice it down the middle.
You're so technical. I love that.
Yes, I was going to be a
Precision.
doctor until my friends distracted me in school. Yeah.
Really? No, true story.
Shit, yeah.
And then?
I got distracted by
God that you
the youth, and I'm joking, man.
Wow, I believed you there for a second. I was like, I could actually picture Dr. Raldemorne coming in for duty. Give me the scalpel, give me the...
All right,
Not
so
really.
my task is pretty much done. All I'm going to be doing now, right, is placing my puff pastry in one of these little metal containers that I've got over here. What do they call the tray, right?
tray.
Baking tray.
That's usually what they call them, Ralph.
Really, this is my first time, guys. And then, because it's puff pastry, it puffs. And naturally, we don't want to get too much of a puff here because this is going to turn into like this phyllo type of style. So what we're going to do is take a fork and lightly just kind of just prick it along the top surface. What this is going to do is kind of just allow more air to come through and not
it doesn't
bubble up and collect
Got it.
underneath the pastry, right? And then, just to kind of reduce that puffiness even more, because this stuff really just wants to rise up like a Monday morning.
Rise up.
What we're going to do is place another bit of paper, that's cooking paper, over
Baking
that.
sheet
Baking sheet paper. Let me turn it this way. And then, Jamie, this is the best trick of it all. Slightly smaller tray. You can get the same size you want, but I place this straight on top of it. Why? To then further reduce that rise. And then it's simple. 180 for safety, for 30 to 40 minutes in the oven, and then our pastry's done. And then I hand over to you.
Yeah, then you have this nice little golden brown slices, and then this is where you get creative with the chocolate, okay? So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take 2 cups of our Clover Bliss.
I had to have some of this morning. It was
I
so
saw you were
good.
getting in there. I was
Kick-started
like,
my day.
clearly the brother didn't have any cake for his birthday yesterday, so
So you're
now
putting
he
it straight in the pot.
straight into the pot.
So convenient.
Where
and
do you want me to put it in?
But I thought you'd like mix something up, and I'm so used to people sauteing things first, but I'm like, there's no onions involved here, so maybe not.
It's the saute for me, though. So what we're going to do right now, because we want it to be nice and thick, obviously, stick into the slices, we're going to take some milk and some corn flour, and we're going to mix this together.
So now we're like amping this Clover Bliss up proper, right?
It's getting chocolatey.
It was a
getting
chocolate
gooey.
dairy dessert. Now it's just a
leveling
bowl
up.
of happiness.
Right?
So what
indulgent.
did you mix the milk with?
Corn flour.
Corn flour, right? And that's obviously going to give it that thickening, almost like a creamy texture, make it more like workable, right?
For sure. And just think of this. You can use this topping on pancakes.
Ooh.
What would
Hey, we need to
you
do this for our next mountain mission.
Listen,
You're giving us ideas.
I'm just saying that I'm making the insides. There we go. I'm going to mix this together, get that nice and thick.
Oh, it looks good.
That already looks so good. I'll just take a spoon and...
Just have a bowl of that.
So that is going... You're going to stir that in, obviously, until it gets nice and thick or the way you want it. And then you're going to let it cool. So what you have right there, over there, I'm going to show you. TV
And
moment.
I see you've got like chocolate drops as well. Did you chuck that in too?
But wait, there's more.
What?
So basically, this is going to transform into this. And just look at this. Just look at this texture.
And yes,
Right?
please.
And then we're going to throw in chocolate chips.
Just to be naughty because it
Just
is
because we can.
International Day of chocolate and all things that make us happy. You're chucking chocolate into this mix. Oh.
Chips. We're going to fold that in. And then obviously with your golden brown little slices, it's been cooled down already, we're going to place that in the middle. And then put the pastry on top. And you're going to put it in the fridge. And then right over there is what it looks like. We're going to dust it off with some cocoa, and I just want to cut it for you. I just want to
Please do. Of course, while Jamie's doing that,
Are
you
you
guys
ready?
can get this recipe on expressoshow.com. It's a sandwich like no other, people. I didn't get sandwiches like, I got peanut butter on my sandwiches. This is a chocolate slice from absolute
just-
heaven. And Jamie is cutting into all the goodness. Listen to that crunch. Listen to the crisp and the ooey gooiness on the inside. Oh, Jamie Lee Domberg, you have come through.
There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, cutting it more. Do you want a slice?
Yes, please. How can I say no to that? Bring it on, bring it on, bring it on.
There we go. Cheers. No, it's fine. This is mine. And voila.
Well done. I'm proud of
It's
us.
up.
We did a good job.
Thank
It
you so
looks
much.
good.
There you have it.
Made with love by Clover. Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Thank you so much for keeping it locked. We've got some amazing performances coming your way this morning. Performing in the styles of standard and Afro jazz, fusion pop and R&B. Jazz band Fusion Rhythm are full of funk this morning. We've heard the sound check. They sound amazing. They've been entertaining audiences with their very unique sound since 2018, and they have shown their versatility by performing at some major festivals like the Matroosfontein Jazz Reunion, the Makufe Festival and the Jazz on the Rocks, and they are joining us to perform right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show stage this morning. So please give a warm welcome to Fusion Rhythm's lead vocalist and band leader, Benzin Bushman, and saxophonist, Jose Samora, as we find out a little bit more about their musical journey.
Good
Gentlemen,
morning.
you look like the cat that got the cream, man. You look ready to rock and roll this morning. Thank you so much for... There's nothing like it for us to walk into the studio when you hear the sounds of like a sax going, and it just gets us in the vibe. But so good to have you guys here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, it's going to be
Pleasure, man.
it's going to be a treat. And I mean, there's 6 of you, so I'm always so fascinated to find out the journey in how did Fusion Rhythm get together?
It all started in 2018, where we were all going to the same studio, like music recording studio, and you know, some of the guys, they were doing like gospel genre, and I was doing my hip hop, R&B, Afro beats vibe, of which I'm still doing. But then, you know, guys, they had so much talent, like they all talented instrumentists and they play different, instruments. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. Guys, I feel the vibe that you guys have, but we can get together and start something different.
Starting a band.
Create something fresh with a new sound, with a new vibe. That's how we got together. And it was the three of us, me, Bona, and Manasseh, then Jose. Jose was between Angola and South Africa. He was traveling a lot. And I spoke to him also, and he was interested in joining the band, and the rest of the crew also, came together. That's how we started.
We were like, Jose, we need a little more cool. And, bro, we need to raise the cool.
Yeah.
In your space, it seems to me that it's all about collaboration. It's all about taking different influences and then molding that into your own sound. And a big part of that is who you get to work with. And I would imagine there are a lot of people, when you present something new like this, that want to dip into that want to get a taste of that. Who has stood out in terms of the performers that you've worked with, and how has that side of your musical journey shaped the sound that you guys now have?
Oh, it was a great outcoming. So we shared like a lot of stage, like with the big musicians in South Africa, like Judith Sepuma.
Wow.
And we played with Don Vindo, Ogat Sax, and Sekela. So it was like incredible. So we said just, here we are. And thank again for all the advice they gave to us. So we put them on the gap and we are working about everything they told us. So here we are. It's incredible.
That is amazing. I love that. Now, I wanted to know from you, maybe Benson, you can answer this in terms of the charity work that you guys do as a band as well. What is your mission statement as a band?
Our mission statement as a band, basically we had one motto and we have a slogan that say, take a child out of the streets through music. So basically, with the talent that we have, we decided to basically empower kids, like, initiating them to learn a skill that can help them, create a better future for themselves. And giving them advice to stick at school, study, so that they can have a bright future. Stay away the streets, stay out of drugs, stay out of alcohol and stuff. I'm not against people that are taking alcohol, but for kids, we need to direct them to a right path so that they can have a bright future. They should focus more on the studies, they should focus more on building themselves and then having and confidence about who they are, discovering who they are and becoming a better person to basically contribute toward the change of our societies. So that's basically what we all about, and we've been going to charity homes also, giving what we could as gift to those kids.
I love that, man. And along the way, you might discover an amazing talent as well. And being a part of activating that talent is, I think, something beautiful. Jose, an album in the works. Where are you guys in terms of your own music?
So, well, we finished everything. So we were recording in the studio. So we did the last step. It was the mastering. So everything's finished. So we're just busy to do the launch of the album very soon. It's
we got like 14 tracks, basically. It's a mixed style of music, but also like at this point of time we like an independent band, but we open to talk, to major label like Universal Music, Sony Music.
Say that to the camera. We are open for business, baby.
Universal Music, Sony Music, Warner Music, all the major labels that that they feel like they can work with us, they can hit us up. Fusion Rhythm. This is our Facebook page. And Fusion Rhythm on Instagram. So we we really looking forward to, to work with you guys. We open to talk. Definitely.
Loving that. Benson, Jose, thank you for joining us. Of course, getting to know Fusion Rhythm a little bit better. And they're going to be performing 3 for us. So you do not want to miss a moment on your Feel Good Breakfast show.
It's going to be funky.
It's going to be incredible.
It's going to be funky.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, indeed it is. Now, Jamie, did you know that Italy has an affinity for jazz?
Now, why did you have to do a turn?
That's my jazz.
Is that your jazz?
Yeah.
Now, you see why I was a bit shady earlier on with the offbeat. You do this to yourself.
Just jealous of these hips, they don't lie. But listen to this, one of the
Really
top Italian cities on my to-visit list, of course, I didn't get the opportunity to do it before the lockdown, is Naples, or otherwise known as Napoli in Italian. And aside from being one of the oldest urban areas in the world with absolutely incredible architecture, like the city's cathedral, the Duomo di San Gennaro, which is Naples, and it's located near Mount Vesuvius, which is still an active volcano that destroyed nearby Roman town Pompei. I mean, look at all the rich history and magic involved in this place.
You're going to think I'm lying, but I've actually been there.
What?
So when I was on cruise ships...
You?
I know, right?
Wow.
When we were in Italy, we actually visited Napoli.
Okay.
And actually I had the pleasure of visiting the Pompei Ruins. So beautiful. It was just a huge culture shock, but absolutely stunning. It has to be on your go-to place. But also it's known for its culinary destination. It's famous for its spaghetti and, of course, the birthplace of pizzeria. Naples is also considered the Italian capital of coffee, with important coffee inventions like, get this, the flip coffee pot from which the espresso machine was invented. Now, considering this, it's no wonder that Nespresso pays tribute to the short, strong and dark espressos. This important coffee destination is known for with its Ispirazione Napoli. Okay?
Love that,
you have
love
to say
that.
that.
You're selling this whole thing about Italy, and I think the only way I can really test it and make sure is if you make us a beautiful coffee.
So you can either make it as an espresso or a ristretto. So
I like the ristretto. The fact that there's a good sort of intensity to this means that I don't have to have too much of it, and I'm still going to get a good body of flavor, which I absolutely love. So ristretto for me, it kind of has that Italian feel as well. I want to get this authentic. And like I said, I generally was about to go to Italy before the lockdown came through. I had my tickets booked and everything. We were off on to World Champs, and then the chaos ensued. But luckily, we've got this beautiful flavor sensation.
I'm so sorry that you couldn't. So this is for you, just to ignite that fire and that love for Italy that you didn't get to experience last year.
Yes.
And
now,
so get into it.
Jamie, the Ispiraziano Napoli's dark and intense roast gives a velvety and somewhat of a creamy cup with an extremely thick body and a kiss of pleasant bitterness. And definitely getting it in that aftertaste. It's intense. It's a lot of flavor, but at the same time, when you have it in a ristretto like this, it's a perfect combination. I mean, that balance of the body, the acidity, it's got this velvety feel to it as well. And just on the end of even getting a touch of cream, I mean, come on.
Living for it.
This is Italy for me.
You'll see in Italy, like there's so many coffee shops around, so everyone's always sitting, in the middle of the day, just having the little bit of coffee, and they're just loving it.
Just jazzing with their coffee on. Hey, 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 hey. No?
Definitely not like that, but obviously I went for the espresso, and so now I'm going to get to explore and just reunite a bit of nostalgia for me this morning. So cheers to you. And now maybe you can move it. Cheers. Okay, let me get into it.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's Camphor Cream, enriched with camphor and glycerine. Trusted to restore and repair dry skin. Ingram's, your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It is your Feel Good Breakfast show indeed on S3. Welcome back. We have a fun treat coming up for you, so you do not want to miss out on anything. Fusion Rhythm, they've been doing a sound check during the ad break, and it's going to be incredible.
They've been getting my hips moving indeed. Now, of course, before we get into that, we're going to check out what's happening first up with Jamie Lee Donberg and the news.
Thank you so much, guys. The time now is 1 minute before 7 o'clock. Time to have a second look at those news headlines. Now, we're starting with your local news first. The Department of Trade, Industry and Competition says that South African consumers should be vigilant of price hikes during the country's COVID-19 lockdown. Deputy Minister Nomalungelo Gina said that this is especially important as some retailers are selling goods at inflated rates. Gina said that the department, in conjunction with its agencies, would hold a webinar to better educate consumers. She said that it was important that unfair pricing of goods and services should be stopped, but that this could only be done when they are reported. And then the Pietermaritzburg High Court yesterday reserved judgment in the matter brought by former President Jacob Zuma, which sought to have his arrest and imprisonment stayed pending his contempt of court rescission application set for next week. Now, the ruling will be delivered on Friday morning, and Zuma was ordered to hand himself over to a police station in Nkandla or Johannesburg on Sunday after being convicted of contempt of court by the Constitutional Court last week and sentenced to 15 months in prison over his refusal to appear before the Zondo Commission. Now, looking to news further abroad, the US military left Bagram Airfield, its key base in Afghanistan, in the dead of night without notifying the Afghans, the base's new commander has said. Now, General Koastani said since then, the Taliban have advanced rapidly and are expected to attack Bagram soon. The general said the Americans left behind millions of items, including thousands of civilian vehicles and hundreds of armored vehicles without keys, bottles of water, energy drinks and military ready-made meals. They took heavy artillery with them, but left behind light weapons and ammunition. And then staying with your international news as well, drones equipped with lasers and thermal technology are being used in Angola to find some of the thousands of active landmines scattered across the vast country. Now, the government has invested heavily in removing the mines, a legacy of the civil war nearly 2 decades ago, in the hope that it can open up and develop much of the country for tourism and other industries. Now, the drones are used to map out mine lines across the country, allowing humans to manually clear the mines more rapidly and safely. And next, a new study that links stress to hair that turns grey. Well, legend has it that France's Queen Marie Antoinette's hair turned grey overnight just before her beheading in 1791. Now, though the legend is inaccurate, hair that has already grown out does not change colour. This, as a new study from researchers at Columbia University in New York, is the first to offer quantitative evidence linking psychological stress to greying hair. And while it may seem intuitive that stress can accelerate greying, the researchers were surprised to discover that hair colour can be restored when stress is eliminated. The study has broader significance than confirming age-old speculation about the effects of stress on hair colour, and this is being said by the study's senior author, Martin Pickard, Associate Professor of Behavioural Medicine at Columbia. He says understanding the mechanisms that allow old grey hairs to return to their young original colour could yield new clues about human ageing in general and how it's influenced by stress. On that note, that is where I leave your 7 o'clock news headlines. Here is someone with a little bit of grey hair to give you sports headlines.
And we own that grey hair. It's wisdom. Well, I think reaching for wisdom right now in very trying times, rugby has been once again thrown into disarray. The fixture between the British and Irish Lions and the Bulls, scheduled to take place on Saturday, has now been postponed. And the second test between the Springboks and Georgia is also being reviewed due to positive COVID-19 cases. So 4 Bulls players and 1 member of management have returned positive tests. And then 4 Bok players, Marvin Orrie, France Steyn, Andre Pollard and France Malherbe, with head coach Jacques Ninaba also testing positive for the coronavirus. Onto the shorter format now. Rugby Sevens and Springbok Sevens head coach Neil Powell said his final team selection for the Tokyo Olympics was not easy, but he'll travel with confidence after choosing the fittest and healthiest team. So Team South Africa's Rugby Seven squad for the global showpiece will include Olympic bronze medalist Justin Geduld and the most experienced Blitzboks, Branko de Priya and Chris Dry. Then Saviwe Soizwapi will be captaining the side, while Ruan Nel will be travelling to Japan as a backup player. The fourth-seeded South Africa will face Ireland, Kenya and a tough prospect, the USA, in Pool C. Now bringing it back home for football, the 67th minute goal by Swallows FC midfielder Kagiso Malinga confirmed a 1-0 victory for Bafana Bafana against Botswana in their COSAFA Cup Group A match at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium yesterday. So despite the victory, South Africa did not claim top spots in the group though. That was after Eswatini beat Lesotho 3-1 to go on top of the log. So Bafana will face Eswatini in their second group stage match on Friday at 3 p.m. and that's at the Wolfson Stadium. Then on to the biggest stage of all in football at the moment. Italy have booked their place in the Euro 2020 finals after seeing off a much improved Spain in a hard-fought encounter at packed Wembley Stadium last night. So Federico Chiesa, he opened the scoring for the Azzurri on the hour mark. Then star on the evening, Alvaro Morata, albeit he did miss a penalty later, equalised for La Roja, making it 1-0 at full time. The match went into extra time and Italy eventually clinched the win in that penalty shootout, winning 4-2. So the winner of the second semi-final between England and Denmark will face the Azzurri in that final on Sunday. The match between the Three Lions and the Danes will kick off at 9 p.m. this evening. Then what a message to send in an Olympic year. Akani Simbine set a new South African and African record in the 100-meter sprint at the 2021 Golai Istvan Memorial Meet in Hungary yesterday. The 27-year-old crossed the line in a time of 9.84 seconds, beating the previous record of 9.85 seconds by Nigeria's Olusoji Fasuba. So Simbine finished ahead of another star at the Olympics, USA's Michael Rogers and Marvin Bracey, and former world and Olympic champion Justin Gatlin finished in 6th, which tells you just how strong the field was. Well, that's where we leave our sporting headlines for this next hour. Let's see what the weather has in store.
Thank you, Graham. Up-teen heat watches are in effect across the southwest of America as another brutal heat wave slowly unfolds across the region, less than 1 month after many cities set number of all-time record highs. High temperatures are expected to soar from today through to the weekend, forcing the mercury to move into the high 40s. Now, the aforementioned heat watches cover parts of Arizona, Nevada, and California, and as of yesterday afternoon, also Las Vegas. Meteorologists say although the unseasonable heat will be record challenging, it should not rise to the level of the deadly one that occurred in late June, where all-time records were shattered in the Pacific Northwest. The scorching heat is expected to grip the region. It is due in an area of high pressure that is set to strengthen throughout the week. And then we love interacting with our hearing from our international viewers who tune in via the Africa channel in the US or on YouTube. So for your 7 a.m. update, we are reporting on the weather in Tucson, Arizona. Tucson has a hot semi-arid climate with 2 major seasons, a hot summer and mild winter. Summer is characterized with daytime temperatures of over 38 degrees Celsius. The area is an adventurous dream with plenty of space for mountain biking and canyons and desert lands to explore. As reported at the top of this bulletin, this is also one of the areas that will be experiencing some extreme heat. So today can be extremely hot with a high of 41 degrees Celsius. And then bringing it back to our local viewers, we have 2 more sunrise photos to share with you today. The first one's from Gavin Pollock from Port Edward, who shared this picturesque photo of the rocky shore as the sun continues to rise. Mini Kumalo, also in KZN from Ikopo, shared this lovely photo of the sun rising over the horizon, showing off this slightly silhouetted image filled with some hues of pink and blue. Now, please continue to share those gorgeous sunrise photos with us, and you can do so on the Expresso Facebook page. And don't forget to also include where you live so that we can give you a little bit of a weather update. And if you are from Ethiopia or you've been there, please share those photos with us too ahead of this coming Friday. But for now, let's look at your temperatures across the country. If you're in Polokwane, a sunny day ahead with a low of 6, a high of 20. Mbombela 10. With a high of 27. It's sunny in Pretoria, 6 is your low, 20 your high. Johannesburg 7 with a high of 17. Mahikeng 4, 21. Klerksdorp 3 with a high of 20. Kimberley 8, 22. Bloemfontein 1 reaching a high of 20. Sunny in Richards Bay with a high of 24. Pietermaritzburg 7 reaching a high of 24. Durban 15, 23, Mthatha 5 with a high of 23, East London 14 reaching a high of 20. Partly cloudy conditions in Cradock, 6 is your low, 22 your high. Gqeberha 10 with a high of 19. George 9 reaching a high of 18, Cape Town 9 with a high of 17, Worcester 9 reaching a high of 22, Sutherland partly cloudy with a high of 15 for today, and Uppington expect a low of 12 and a high of 26 degrees Celsius. That's where I leave your weather for now. A final update coming your way shortly after 8.
Good questions this morning. Obviously, the weather's looking good, but we've got something important to discuss right now. You guys
What
ready
is
for
it?
this? All right. So,
Lay it down, buddy. Lay it down.
what's one of the things that we all have in common? That's the question
We're all
I'm asking this morning.
presenters.
What is that? What is that?
We're all presenters.
Coffee,
Yes,
we like
you could
coffee,
say
we
that.
love
We
coffee.
like chocolate.
But we all have to pay our bills. Yeah, I know. Everyone just went like, ooh, sunk in the couch. Listen, no matter how big or small they are, we all have to do it. And this morning, we're going to get down and honest with our My Money Story chat. And we asked you to fill in the blank in the following statement, right? So here it is. When it comes to my monthly expenses, I try split my bills by X percentage for needs and X percentage for wants and X percentage for savings. So you've got your needs, your wants, and your savings. How much percentage of each are you adding to it?
I think for me...
Just hang on. Why are you looking at me with so much fear?
Man,
You're like,
come on, man.
Because I'm scared to answer something like you're going to judge me.
I think very much after this last, and maybe a lot of people can relate after the last kind of, 15 months or so, it's needs. 90%.
Yeah.
And we've had to do that. We've had to kind of make those adjustments. And obviously, when you've got kids in the mix, your own kind of wants start to drift. And it's not to say that you shouldn't pay yourself at some point and do the things that matter. But now, for me, that's become more fundamental, less about a frivolous thing. Okay, I want a new pair of shoes, but thinking, okay, what do I really need for myself? It's the rehab. It's getting my physical state back, and those sorts of things. And that's how I pay myself. But at the moment, I'm like. Needs are like 95%.
I mean, gee, it relates so much to the time we're in. If you think about it, we've all been, in a weird way, if I look at the silver lining, presented with an opportunity to reorientate and re-establish what is a priority to us. And I think a lot of people have taken that on. Jamie, have you been in a similar boat?
Exactly the same as G. But here's the thing. My savings has also become a need now because also, again, with this last year, I've realized that you need to save. I have a child. We have a child. So that has also become part of now my new percentage. So it's like 99.9% is everything is like needs with a little bit of savings in there as well. So if that answers your question.
And that's why we love an influencer drop, guys. That's why we love an influencer drop. That's how we get the stuff that we want, yeah.
True.
No, I love this, and I think it's so pertinent, especially the time we're in right now. And I get that. There's this emotional factor to it as well. But let's see what the rest of Mzansi has to say, because I think social media has been popping off for this question. And we've got some coming in through. We've got Joan Cameron. I don't know if you guys can see that, but she says, my husband and I were discussing our expenses yesterday. He's a retired accountant, so I always have good advice when it comes to splitting up money into different divisions to get through the month. Plus, invest in a broker if you can. You won't be sorry. Firstly, Joan Cameron has it. All the box ticked, it sounds like it. Wow.
It helps when your significant other is an accountant. That's like that is a bonus,
But it reminds me of my grandfather, because back in the day, you would literally sit at the end of the month with everyone's salary, so my mom's salary and my aunt's salary, and we'd all live in the big house. And you'd sit like, for this month, food. budget for clothes, budget for that. So everything would have a little bit of a division, and that's how I would split it up. So that is...
Something like that in my life. Someone like that in my life.
Mel, we'll teach Mel. We obviously have another one that came through from Jacqueline Keller saying, I tried to save, but as I lost my job last year, it had been difficult. I work part-time now as a guest house for minimum salary and make up the rest by baking and selling. Not easy as I'm divorced and got no other support financially. I get by, but really just pay the bills, which is a sad reality of a lot of people.
Everyone has been affected in some way or another by the added pressures of the last year, and it will pass, and we'll get back into a fresh new headspace, I think. But that's something that Raul, you hit the nail on the head. This is an opportunity for us to rethink those things. Yeah.
Just kind of create more efficiency. So, I mean, the comments are coming through. Mzansi's really taking to the subject. And Gary Orkamp has a comment, and he says, I don't budget. I just have savings pockets that I use when I want a new car, a TV, or for traveling. So I think he's had this mastered all the way through. So on a rainy day like this, this is where you thrive.
Savings pockets on your account that make it really easy for you to do that. So, for instance, so I've got like a wedding one. And it actually prompts you every time that you want to transfer money or make a payment. It suggests that you put it into one of your savings pockets first. So you're constantly thinking about it and adding to it, and it really does help. Yeah, man.
I've been looking for this all these years. Come on, okay?
It really does help.
I
Just
see
keeps it, firmly in your focus, in your mind. Yeah.
We have another one from Mersha that says, now that my husband only works 18 days a month, there's only enough for what we need. Again, a sad reality of so many. And then I'll do the last one as well, which is Valdine Fortain. She says, with the pandemic, things just got worse. Don't even know the meaning of splitting anymore.
Yeah, man. I think everyone's
forced to budget.
Yes, everyone is feeling it, and you are not alone. So if you are feeling that added pressure, when we talk about things like splitting up and saving or doing this, that's in an ideal world, but we know that we all are facing different pressures that are relative to our own situation. But the important thing is to think about it, even if you're not at that point yet, to think about, because savings, as this year has proven, are essential, and I think a lot of us have survived on our savings over the last year and a half. So that in itself is motivation enough.
So true, G. Now, look, if you need help building a budget, sticking to your budget, or just learning how to make some extra cash, then visit the Unlocked.me platform powered by Nedbank. Now, this space is particularly aimed at the youth and can give you a great leg up in your financial future, so you definitely will be encouraged to explore the resources and tools available and get saving and get on top of life once again. Yeah.
Indulge your desires. Be swept away by the fragrance of dissent. Take the plunge into impulsive spending until you find yourself deeper and deeper, drowning in debt. In this world of temptation, do you want a bank that takes your money, or a bank that takes your money seriously?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh yes, you guessed it, you're still live here with your Feel Good Breakfast Show on S3. But of course, JP Sebastian is connecting with us now via video call to let us know about the latest movie trailers. JP Sebastian, how are you this morning?
I'm feeling very claustrophobic, being in a tiny screen.
Right.
No one ever wants on a streaming call feels like a police interrogation at all times. I will tell you everything you want to know.
Listen, Ra wants to know actually if JP Sebastian is the same on live versus on a Zoom call. Is it the same person?
I wouldn't even want to tell my mother who I am online. I don't know if you're on my OnlyFans right now, to put it frankly. 20 rand, anyone? No, okay.
No, please sit down. Please tell us about the first movie. Let's not get carried away right now.
Okay, so the first one I want to tell you about, these are trailers that they grabbed me. They were enticing to me. They were visually, interesting. And all of them in this first segment that I'm going to be talking to you is small town drama. And the first one is Lorelei. Now, there's a name that you don't hear very often. It sounds like a very rare kind of name. I don't know if I've met anyone with a name like that myself. Stars Jenna Malone, which some people might recognize from The Hunger Games. She was one of the more interesting characters in there. I don't know if you remember the girl who got naked in the escalator when she was with Jennifer Lawrence. Anyway.
Of course, that is what you remember.
That's not the only reason why she was interesting, but she was like such a dynamic character. And in this as well, she has to walk this balancing act of being this dynamic kind of character. Pablo Schreiber is this guy who just spent 15 years in jail. We don't know what his crime is, and to the director, it's clear that doesn't matter, because what matters is that these two people are reunited. They are high school lovebirds, they're sweethearts for the longest time, and then they were just sort of separated by circumstance. Now, it's one of those movies where you can see there's this instinctive like happiness, this joy that someone is back in your life. But the tension of all these years that were undealt with, like, where were you this whole time? And I think, right now, that's the kind of drama that maybe a lot of people need to be getting into. Jenna Malone is this mother of 3 kids, obviously not his, because it's been 15 years, who is just trying to make ends meet. Honest working person, trying to keep things on an even keel, but obviously the pressure gets to her. And Pablo Schreiber is this cagey kind of guy who used to be in a bike gang and doesn't know if he can commit to a new life. He doesn't even want to be called dad by these kids, but it seems like that's all he needs. A lot of this theme seems kind of popular in movies right now. A lot of the stuff that like Tom Hardy acts in is the big strong guy who deep down is just a tender dude who, if you gave a little bit of a chance and a little bit of love, he might turn his heart around, and this is the one shot he gets. There's no date for Lorelei in SA just yet. But it looks beautiful and looks really tenderly acted, and it's been receiving a lot of acclaim at critics' circles and all those kinds of things. So I look forward to it.
JP, this is a softy movie. Have I converted you? Is this what's happening? Because this is so up my alley right now. This is beautiful, hitting all the fields. What's happening?
Me? No, I've always been a softie. Seriously, I cry at anything. And I promise you that Wildfire as well, but not before I'm like, thrown for a loop by how much of a totally sort of like exuberant trip that this next movie seems.
Let us know about Wildfire.
It's an all-Irish cast and Irish director. What I want to say, by the way, firstly, is that this is a female director, which is fantastic. It's more of that, please. Kathy Brady. This is her feature film debut. Before that, we were obviously talking about Lorelei, and I must say there too, Sabrina Doyle, first-time director as well, female too, fantastic, more of that, I believe. Wildfire is another one of these stories. Like I said, it's all small-town drama this morning, and it's a person coming back after many years, thinking they can just come into your life. It reminds me of the feeling, I think it was in, what was it, Notting Hill or Love Actually, I can't remember, where someone says they just love to sit in airports and watch the exuberance where no one remembers the past. All that pain is thrown away for a brief moment, and you just throw yourself into someone's arms, and that's what Wildfire and Lorelei seems like. So now the story is that they're two sisters who are referred to in terms as Irish twins, quote unquote. That means that you were born 1 year apart, and I think that's a term that's used around the world. I don't know. I didn't make that up, I promise. But their mother dies under mysterious circumstances. They live in a border town in Ireland, and so obviously there's the political tensions that go with that. There was a mother part of a resistance militant group. We don't know. The one daughter might know because she stayed behind in the town and the other daughter has been missing all these years, suddenly is back. They're both super happy to see each other, but then they need to thrash out the past. And it looks beautifully filmed, and obviously it's really pertinent, especially now Brexit possibly threatening, you know, these ties that people have been making across borders all these years. Anyway, JP's got to move on, but Wildfire looks great.
Looks absolutely...
Or do I have to move on? Talk some more.
Well, listen, we are going to come back to you a little bit later on. Of course, we can't connect with you right now in studio, but we are connecting with you via video call. So JP Sebastian is coming to us with more movie trailers a little bit later on. But right now, it's time to colour our plate with Koo.
That's right, Jamie, because a healthier you starts with a balanced, colourful plate. Now join Koo on a very exciting journey as they launch a new reality cooking show called Colour Your Plate with Koo. Now, if you want to be Mzansi's next cooking star, then this show is the chance for you to really show off your culinary skills. And today we're about to make some oat bowls with Koo fruit, a balanced breakfast filled with so much needed energy for the day and, of course, a lot of colour on our plate.
Yeah, the most important thing is getting the colour onto your plate. And it doesn't have to be this very kind of over-the-top complicated process. You want to get the beta-gluten in there, good for your heart. You want to get a nice base for the energy for the day. And, of course, you want to get your fruit. I understand that these little peaches are calling your name, that this is like a craving food of yours.
Well, Koo peaches is something like, even the canned fruit, like we used to... Especially on a Sunday, I remember it was my and my mom's guilty pleasure to eat together. And what's quite cool is the Koo peaches are grown right here in the Western Cape, and they are canned fresh so that you can really enjoy delicious fruit. I had no idea it was made in the Western Cape, to be honest.
Yeah, man, beautiful produce and fresh with colour, and they obviously taste delicious.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to jazz up your oats.
Yeah. So I have a confession to make. I don't know how to make oats on the stove. That for me is still something I haven't mastered.
Well, Zoe, it's really complicated, okay? What you got to do is you put a pot on the stove, okay? You take the oats, you put it in the pot, you take the water and you put it on the oats, and then you let it cook. No, it gets more complicated.
You add a pinch of salt.
You know what?
Okay, I know the process is easy, but gee, I always get the water balance wrong. I find like my oats are either too runny or it's
too
like...
stodgy. I think you've got to watch it and just kind of take a note. It looks like we've gone for about 3 cups here. I would say 2 to 1 is probably a good ratio to work with. I'm sure written on the box is exactly how it works. But you've got to watch it. It'll take about 20 minutes to cook down, and then you can start testing if you need to add a little bit more. But you can get creative here. You can add in a bit of coconut milk if you wanted to. You can kind of spice it up, but we're going for just gewone, natural, perfect oats. Bring it to the boil, bring it down to simmer, let it go for about 15-20 minutes, and you're going to end up with your... And it's also about the consistency that you like.
Yes, so I've mastered doing the cold oats, the overnight oats, where you literally prepare it the night before, pop it in the fridge. So I do love eating oats. I just can never get it looking like this on the stove.
I didn't do it. Our foodie team made it perfectly, and as they do, everything is like photo ready. Okay, so there's the base of your bowl. You can now have a little bit of fun.
I'm going to scoop up some breakfast for us. Okay, so obviously...
And I find oats is great because it really does fill you up. I find it kind of activates my metabolism. So it's a good way if you are wanting to kind of shred. I find I'll even do a bit of oats with a bit of protein powder, some banana in there. That for me is a great way to start the day. But what I love about this is you're getting the colours, which means you're getting the vitamins.
There we go. So of course we want to use our Koo peach slices that's in a syrup. So I'm going to use a little bit of this to just put it on top.
So this is a good test run for you, Zoe, because a little birdie has told me that you're going to be a guest judge on Colour Your Plate. How are you feeling about that?
I'm very excited because I love eating food, not so much the cooking part, but I can appreciate good food. And I mean, look at this. We are using the fruit cocktail, and I'm just going to add a couple of slices. I'm using a fork because we want to be careful with the syrup.
You don't want to take too much of the syrup. I mean, if that's your vibe.
But I mean, add a little drizzle for some sweetness. Of course. I love it when there's like a pop of a cherry that comes through. There's always a hidden cherry in there. And then, of course, we just want to finish it off with a little bit of honey. I did add a bit of the syrup as well, but it's just for added sweetness.
And this is going to be, if you want to get the kids to eat their oats, this is going to be a beautiful way to do that. What will you look for when you're judging?
Well, I will be looking for you know, I want us to celebrate the different cultures that we have, because each region is known for their food. I mean, if you are, you know, whether you're living in Cape Town or in Durban, I think we all have something that we
have our own flavors.
Yes, we do have our own flavors. So I want you to really celebrate your area, your culture, and really just highlight the produce that you can find in South Africa. I mean, in the Western Cape alone, we have so many great things. For example, these peaches are made in the Western Cape and canned here. And I mean, that's just the Western Cape alone. I can't wait to see what the rest of South Africa has to offer. And what's quite cool is KOO is encouraging us to get our 5 a day in every single day. So I think this is a great way for us to really just play around with color on our plate, but also focusing on nutrition.
Yep, get it all in there. If it looks good, chances are it is going to be good. And of course, you can find this recipe on expressoshow.com, along with all of our culinary inspiration. You can see the oats is already starting to come together.
You should get another bowl so that you can dish up some breakfast for yourself too.
Because did you leave me any peaches?
There's lots of lots to go around for everyone. And you know what? This is wholesome. This is, I'm going to give it a quick taste. This is good. I love the syrup.
Eating oats with a fork, so you can savor every mouthful.
That's how I eat my oats. I mean, it's wholesome, and you know, a colourful breakfast. It's a colourful breakfast bowl, and it's really easy for you to enter to be a contestant on Colour Your Plate with KOO. All you need to do is simply send us your creative meal creations, and here is a reminder of just how easy it is for you to get onto the show. This is good, G.
Are you Mzansi's next cooking star? If your cooking makes the pots born, enter to be on SABC2's new show, Colour Your Plate with KOO. To be part of the show, buy any 3 KOO products and send KOO 5 a day to 072-741-5357 on WhatsApp and follow the steps to load a picture of your colourful meal with your own twist. Stand to win your share of 500,000 rands worth of prizes with KOO. KOO uzogcwala.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, everybody. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show right here on S3. Now, of course, while we hold on tightly to our choc chip Oma rusks, you at home should hold on tightly to your phones because this morning's Would You Rather question might just make you sweat. Now, here's the scenario. Someone you know picks up your phone and is about to go snooping through it. Ryle and Zoe.
Yo.
Would you rather, A, have all your photos on your phone be seen, or B, have all your text messages be read out loud?
I pictured myself sprinting towards that person and spear tackling them. Is that option C?
No, it's not. There is not.
Okay, I personally wouldn't mind photos to be seen. I don't have anything dodgy on my phone. In fact, you'll only see cat photos, house inspiration, and my photos of my nephew. That's all that's on my phone. So I'll definitely do A. Definitely not.
I'm going to go with Zoe on that because, like, I think there's nothing dodgy on my phone when it comes to pictures unless some DMs have been... unless someone slid through on the DMs, you know, that's not my control. But... like, messages are personal. That's intimate. That, for me, is like, there's trust created in those processes. Sometimes people are confiding in me, and I don't want to disrespect that at all. So, yeah, I guess the nip's going to have to slip if it's one of those things.
Are there messages you guys are ashamed of?
Oh, the ones from the bank, you know, when the debit order goes off and then the bank tells you how much is left.
You have $5 left in your account. Please make payment for the next
SMSs.
I think I've been a good guy. There's nothing I'd be ashamed of. It's just more just protecting people's privacy. I'm happy with the place I am in my life. If you asked me this like 2 or 3 years ago, I might have just kept quiet and sat on the couch because, yeah. But we've grown.
We have grown. But, Jamie, you can't get away without answering ALB. I know you're the host with the most.
Oh, man, I know those DMs on the daily. Oh, you can't keep up, girl.
So I would actually choose B, though, because, to be fair, there are some DMs, and, yeah.
What pictures do you have on your phone that you don't want people to see?
Guys, you do need to know that I used to date, you know, long-distance relationships. So just to keep things a bit spicy, Mommy, I hope you're not listening to this. Just to keep things a bit spicy, you have to send a bit of a, like, a hey there, how you doing? And so I still have those pictures, and I still keep those pictures. So I'd rather have someone else.
Hot. The body looks good.
I'm going to show them. You know, this is what Mama did. This is what Mama did.
By the way, everyone in the studio is trying to find your phone. I hope you hid it away somewhere.
It's locked. It's got facial recognition, so we're fine. We're good. Don't worry. Lucian doesn't have my
facial recognition, fingerprint. Her phone is like Alcatraz.
But I want to hear what everyone on social media is saying, because this is a very hectic
I can imagine
topic,
social media is like, oh, hell no. I'm killing that person that's trying to get my phone.
They're going with C. So let's see what they have to say. We have Prince Malut saying, definitely A. I don't think you'd survive reading all my chats out loud. You'd automatically lower your voice. Why, though?
Thinking about it, that's hectic.
It's going down.
I see Nadia's also come through, and she says, what would it be for me? It's got to be A. I think she's got a long comment there that we haven't expanded on, but I get the picture. I do. Well, we can expand on that, actually. For me, it's A. People's going to get palpitations reading my messages.
You're spicy. You're spicy.
I know Mzansi's spicy. I believe this. This is the truth.
So what is in those DMs? Tell us what is in those messages. We also have Tracy Clark saying, A, no problem with anyone seeing my pics. B, the person reading might get a heart attack.
Wait, what are you guys chatting about? That everyone's just like going to get a heart attack. Like, you guys are steamy.
Vulnerable in what you say, because it's not necessarily the steamy part. I think it's the vulnerability that comes to sharing, or, you know, it's easier to be intimate with someone over a phone and share your secrets with them. And I think that's more what I would be ashamed or feel embarrassed about.
Oh, do have
whether it was messages or WhatsApps or Instagram DMs or Facebook DMs, or just messages, those things I delete straight away.
Do you not keep your chat?
Keep the messages, but on WhatsApp, then obviously those stay.
So you keep the
there.
DMs.
For sure, because I
don't check the DMs.
I must have the receipts. You never know. We also have one from Felicia that came through that says, definitely A, wouldn't want y'all to read out loud what me and my best friend talk about.
Ooh.
Now we do want to know.
You guys are so spicy. I want to read these messages.
Oh, I have some spicy girlfriends too. It's the best.
And then we've got Jacqueline Groenewald says, you can do both. Think the one who is reading my messages will run away from me.
Well, we're not running away from everyone, okay? Protect what you love, guys. Hide your phone, hide your Russ, and keep safe out there, because people just want to slide in the DM.
Right. I'll hide these. These are mine.
Okay, he's leaving. Bye.
Any time is dipping time when it's with the ones you love.
All right, the time has finally arrived. We are being joined this morning by the incredible six-piece jazz band Fusion Rhythm. Who are going to be treating us to their completely unique blend of Afro jazz, pop, bit of R&B, bit of hip-hop thrown in there, and a whole lot of funk. And they're kicking it off with their song titled Miss Beautiful.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we go for the dance. Of Fusion Rhythm. Just wanna ask you a little something, my baby. Can you love? Can you touch? Can you smile? Yeah. Just wanna ask you a little something, my baby. Can you touch? Can you love? Can you smile? Oh yeah. Forget about everything that people say about us. Cause you're the one, you're the only one that I love. I say, hey, Miss Beautiful, what's it talking about? I just wanna put a smile on your face. Hey, Miss Beautiful, what's it talking about? I just wanna put a smile on your face. On your face, smile, smile on your face. Yeah. On your face, smile, smile on your face. Hey. Come on, break it down, your pretty face got me smile. Okay, now if I could take it back, I would rectify all the mistake. I say, hey, Miss Beautiful, what's it talking about? I just wanna put a smile on your face. Hey, Miss Beautiful, what's it talking about? I just wanna put a smile on your face. On your face. Smile, smile on your face. Yeah. I say. Break it on. Now if I say clap your hands like that, at home clap your hands like that. At home clap your hands like that. At home clap your hands. Hey, I say, hey, Miss Beautiful, what's it talking about? I just wanna put your smile, smile. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
My knees are weak. That was beautiful. I hope the girl that you wrote that song about knows that you wrote that song about her.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that is beautiful. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Stick around. You can let us know what you thought of that performance. We got 2 more coming your way this morning, so you don't want to move a muscle. We'll see you now.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's Tissue Oil and Rich Body Care range for 48-hour rich moisture. Ingram's, your skin, your brave.
JP, can you hear me?
There we go.
There we go.
Hello.
Sorry about that. So basically, we have 3 movies to get through.
Yes.
The first one is Scales.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me all about it.
So again, just these are trailers that grabbed me during the week. These are very new, fresh movies, up and coming. No dates in SA just yet, but internationally, they like the next month or whatever. Scales is one of these movies that when the Academy Awards come around, look at that beautiful poster, by the way. We tend to forget that we go, oh, the foreign category is 5 films and that's that. But it's like every country submitted something, virtually every country. And this was Saudi Arabia's official submission for Oscar consideration. Director is Shahid Amin. So that is the 3rd female director we have this morning. Woohoo! Who is also a debut feature filmmaker, and even for this one, it was 2019 at the Venice Film Awards, won an award that considered this movie one of the most innovative movies of the year. As you can see, this is the cliche kind of thing where critics can say, it's strikingly beautiful visuals, because it actually is absolutely beautiful to look at. It is the story of a young lady who is strong-willed. And as you can see there already, if you're a fan of this past week, Luca that just came out, then we've got Fish People in the works again. But this time it's not all verdant and beautiful. She is supposed to be a human sacrifice in this fishing village to make sure that the next harvest is good. She is obviously, as I said, strong-willed, and she says, no, I'm not going to die for your patriarchal systems. And she decides to swim back to shore and says, nah, I'm not going to be fed to the fish monster. And what if I am one myself? She doesn't reveal to anyone, but obviously the trailer lets on that what if she was the monster this whole time? What if going back to the sea and embracing that power was your own to take with your both hands, your fins, I suppose, in this case? All that silliness aside, Scales looks absolutely beautiful. And like I said, unfortunately, no date for it just yet in SA, but hopefully it comes here with some sort of international festival or something like that. Or find your own way to scale it off the web legally.
Silly. Looks so good, though. Reminds me a bit of Game of Thrones, with that little storyline. But we also have another one called The Mandibles. Tell us about that one.
Let's all take it down a notch, will you? Everyone breathe deep and make sure that you're a mouth breather for the rest of this movie, because Mandibles looks absolutely stupid. And that is why I included it, because it looks hilarious. Director's name is Quentin Dupuis. And last time I mentioned him on Expresso was like 3 times for a movie called Deerskin, which looked hilarious as well. No date for that in SA just yet. No date for this one either. But yes, naturally, these 2 dullards who are sort of a French Beavis and Butthead, a French Bill and Ted, find a gigantic fly in the boot of their car, and they decide that they're going to train this fly like a pet monkey rather than submit it to the scientific community like, ooh, what can we learn from the giant fly? No, they're idiots who just think, yay, we now have a pet fly that's going to make all our dreams come true. We're going to get major babes with this fly. They find their way to some sort of, villa where they're, of course, hot babes and beach parties and everything, where one of the babes, I keep saying this word because that's how stupid this movie makes me feel, mistakes one of their identities for someone else who was supposed to be at this party. But so they're doing this one hustle of trying to be these cool guys who they're not, and at the same time trying to hide this gigantic fly. Yes, that actress apparently steals the show fantastically, because Shane, the poor thing, had a skiing accident. So now she can only speak a screaming volume, which just makes me tears my sides laughing at her performance. I've not seen it myself, but I really look forward to it. Mandibles looks like a dumb, stupid, mind-numbing, mouth-breathing treat. And thank you, France, for offering this kind of thing once in a while, and not everything being deep and intellectual and broody.
I'm so glad I didn't have to be shady with this one, because it does look dumb. For once, I can agree with you.
No, not at all. All of us deserve some dumb now and then, and Mandibles is going to be like my decade dose of stupidity by the looks of things.
You need it. Well, we have a last one. What is that one all about?
The last one is Clifford the Big Red Dog, which is about a big red dog, which on the poster for some reason is ominous.
You don't say.
I promise you that in the writer's room, there were arguments about, no, too red. No, not red enough. And he's got a little ginger friend, as you can see there. John Cleese, who obviously walks around with dogs like this, gives them to little girls who are feeling sad and bullied by big city girls who she is not as cool as, and tells her that if she loves the dog enough, it will keep growing. Now, I don't know if that's a gift or a curse, really. Who wants a dog that is this gigantic? Why? Hollywood was like, I feel like no one was traumatized enough by cats and photorealism. So, you know what, we're going to chuck a big red dog in there that is the same red as Hellboy, that is the same red as Satan. Okay, I'm being silly. I'm sure it's going to be silly fun for the kids. But man, I can't get over how weird looking this is. Clifford, the big red dog. The trailer is not brave enough to address, by the way, how you deal with potty training or dog farts, because those are cataclysmic biological warfare. Like, you're going to have to put up a memorial or something when that dog farts. Date for essay is...
Yeah, I'm just thinking of like parents having to explain to their children now why they can't have a red dog, because that's going to be the question. Mommy, why don't I have a red dog?
Because this is a good Christian home and we don't invite gigantic red dogs in here. No, all that, like I said, silliness aside, I'm glad that the kids get something to gawp at once in a while, but I can't get over how weird looking it is. That is October 1st in South Africa. And family fun for everyone.
Well, thank you so much, JP Sebastian, for the latest movie trailers. Of course, hitting us up with all our feels, but let us know which ones you're looking forward to when it does release in South Africa.
JP coming through some movie goodness over there. Myself and G are definitely adding this to our bucket list. But speaking of movies and speaking of popcorn, are you the kind of person that adds chocolate to your popcorn at the movies? Well, while G and I debate this, there's one thing that is certain. You do not want to miss this next chocolatey recipe.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic!
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover.
Yeah, now certain classic recipes have a title that immediately tells you it's going to taste so good. And this man is nervous. He can't wait for it, clearly. Now, just like our viewer-inspired chocolate bread pudding, best served with Clover Classic custard, this recipe was inspired by our top fan, Josephine Pickstone. And we're thanking her so much for being pretty much part of the family. And G and I are going to attempt this recipe right now. What's happening, G?
I had one job, dude, was just make sure that the cream didn't boil over. I got caught up in the whole dog fart, giant fly conversation that was going on, and I let the cream boil over. But it's nice and hot, and it looks ready to do the job here. I've got a bowl of our broken chocolate. We've got a mix of milk and dark chocolates. I'm all about that dark chocolate. But I think for a bread and butter pudding, you want kind of a balance of, so you want it to be quite sweet. So I think a mixture of the chocolate is great.
Yeah, man.
So what I'm doing here is I've heated the cream up, and I'm going to add it to the chocolate to melt.
Oh, so you're malting the chocolate this way, as opposed to putting the chocolate in the pan. That's quite cool.
I suppose you could do the bain-marie thing, and it's a bit of a back and forth. Yeah. This is nice and quick and simple, and then you'll see that chocolate, it starts melting immediately.
While you get the malt on, let's be efficient with this, because I'm going to prepare the slices which make this ingredient come together. And it's really simple. I've just got standard slices, and all you're going to do is cut them into like a sort of diamond shape. Let's not cut them all at once. But basically, right and simple, just like that, almost like you're making a snack. We just cut it down the center. Let's get a bit of our efficiency on here and slice through all of that. And then, once you have your chocolate melted on G's end, you can head over to our next step over here. So let me just finish cutting these diamonds over here. There we go.
And I suppose you could get creative with your bread shaping and what you want. Okay, so now I've got our melted butter. It's going into the mix.
Oh, and we're adding butter to this.
Yes, bread and butter pudding, baby.
Naughty. Yeah.
Mix those through.
Gee, I would honestly probably just have a little sip of that on its own. I mean, look how good that looks.
It does look like kind of a hot chocolate. It's like a Banting vibe hot chocolate.
Yeah,
okay.
I feel you there.
Yeah, you got your butter, more butter. And then our caster sugar is going in as well. And listen, this is a dessert, eh? We didn't come here to play.
This is the day of chocolate. We've got to celebrate.
So
We've got to do it right.
if you're going to do it properly.
And I know Mzansi has a lot of like chocolate enthusiasts that are waiting for something like this to just tickle their taste buds after... they've probably ticked every chocolate box you can think of, except for this.
Okay, so here's the deal, buddy. Do we want chocolate scrambled eggs? Or do we want chocolate sauce?
French toast.
This is what's really making me nervous. I just want to make sure that this is cool. And you want to let that stand.
Yeah.
So that it cools down to a point that the temperature's not going to cook the egg, and I think we are right here. So we've got our 3 eggs. I hope so, dude, for good or for worse.
And the egg, I'd imagine, is obviously just to add to the consistency, get it to kind of like come together, help it thicken, help it maybe bind at the same time. And also a little bit of protein added into this as well.
Yeah,
so it's not just chocolate, people. We've got some macro balance.
I told you, because this is a Banting version. No, it's not. It really is not. Don't take that from me. But Clef, Chef Clem Chef. It was bound to happen at some point.
I love that. That's his new nickname. It's like the most
Whoever
efficient-
started that last culinary hotline, you ruined me. I say that now every time I see him. I'm like, Clem Chef. Cliff will be in the studio a little bit later. I'm sure he's just somewhere here laughing.
I was here
at me,
for that
though.
day, and I think it was so cool. The fan was so excited to speak to Chef Clem. They were like, Clem Chef, Clem Chef, Clem Chef. I love that. That was a hype moment. But he has this effect on us, man. I mean, come on.
No, he's the master. But he said, don't be precious about it. If you do get some egg lumps in it, just strain it out, man. Don't cry and throw the whole thing out. Yeah, or I suppose you could try the scrambled eggs, but
scrambled egg route.
But I think this has come together beautifully.
Your consistency looks almost like somewhat of a milkshake. It's that good, G.
And I think
possibly
this,
even smoother than
could
that.
have a glass, just have 2 glasses of this, eat a slice of bread. But I think this is going to be perfect.
Yeah,
actually,
man.
to go in, so I'm going to give that to you, buddy.
Let's head over to our next step. So, 2 lads in the kitchen. We're doing a good job so far. I've cut my triangles of my bread. G's prepared the beautiful mixture that we're going to put into this. So this is pretty much the easy part, I think. All I'm going to be doing is putting a little small... Let me show you on the camera side. Just going to place a little bit of this, just a thin layer at the bottom of my sort of casserole-style dish.
Chef.
Thank you, G Chef. And then... Right, and I emphasize the fact that it's just a light layer because now you want to get fancy and start arraying and aligning your bread in a nice fancy way. I haven't really thought about this too much, but yeah, let's go with that. Let's keep it authentic. Let's keep it South African. And one of our national flowers is that protea, of course, inspiring the cricketers, inspiring all our athletes too. But if we were to fast forward this process, you'd get something beautiful like this. It's a bread flour, and this is only step 1, right? So hey, check, it's actually not looking that bad, eh? Wow.
Nicely done.
There we go. All right, so bread pudding is in. I've got a nice, beautiful array, and you can get creative with this. Then what we're going to do is the rest of this beautiful mixture that G's just made, I'm going to now place it upon the top.
Don't waste a drop.
Ooze it all over the top. Now we're getting this bread and everything else involved. Beautiful stuff. And then take some of that leftover chocolate as well, G, and just kind of place it on top. This is going to melt in this mixture.
You know, the people out there going, what leftover chocolate? There's never,
it's already in the belly.
Never leftover chocolate.
Chuck some chocolate in. Then again, just finish up that mixture. Just get it all over. This is kind of like that. It is like a bit of a French toast kind of vibe. Get it all layered up. And boom, we pop that in the oven, 180 for safety, 30 to 40 minutes. And of course, the hero ingredient just to smother all the goodness.
That. Some of it's crisped up beautifully. It looks mulchy and squishy and beautiful. I'm going to put a little bit of Clover Classic Custard, the vanilla flavor.
Wonderful stuff. And of course, guys, you can get this recipe on expressoshow.com. All the inspiration you need to feed a family with some beautiful chocolate slices. Hero ingredient coming through from Clover Classic. G's about to tuck into the goodness for 2 lads in the kitchen.
Oh, my goodness.
That was a pretty good job,
I
G.
think we did really well.
While G tucks into that, you guys can get the recipe inspiration right now on expressoshow.com. And you missed any of these steps too? Well, here you go. You can do it right now. Enjoy. Oh.
Made with love by Clover. Only you can make my day.
So I thought, welcome back, I thought the best part would be the gooey center, but it's actually the crusty bits on the outer edge that you're going to...
Look at that crunch. Yeah. While G tucks into this, Jamie's got the latest with the news. Let's find out what's happening and kick off the rest of this magic. Thanks, man.
Please keep me some while I get through those news headlines one more time. Starting with your national news, Pretoria University's Faculty of Health Science and Steve Biko Academic Hospital have welcomed a mobile robot to the ICU team. Now, Stevie, named after South African anti-apartheid struggle icon Steve Biko, will help with the treatment of patients during the pandemic. The robot, which will help doctors identify illnesses and diseases in the ICU, has a privacy handset to help with confidential communication during ward rounds. It also has a stethoscope port to remotely relay information during the examination of a patient and a high-definition pan-tilt zoom camera for close-up diagnosis. And then the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition says that South Africa consumers should be vigilant of price hikes during the country's COVID-19 lockdown. Deputy Minister Nomalungelo Gina said that this is especially important as some retailers are selling goods at inflated rates. Gina said that the department, in conjunction with its agencies, would hold a webinar to better educate consumers. She said that it was important that unfair pricing of goods and services should be stopped, but that this could only be done when they are reported. Now looking to news further abroad, authorities in the northern Nigerian state of Kaduna have ordered the immediate closure of schools in areas vulnerable to attacks. Now this comes a day after gunmen abducted some 150 students from a secondary school in the state. In a separate incident, a mother and baby were taken from a hospital. Security forces are hunting the abductors as we speak, and since December, more than 1,000 students have been abducted for ransom and nearly a dozen fatally shot by criminal gangs. Now, the authorities are struggling to defeat the armed groups involved in the kidnappings. And then the US military left Bagram airfield, its key base in Afghanistan, in the dead of night without notifying the Afghans, the base's new commander has said. Now, General Koastani said since then the Taliban have advanced rapidly and are expected to attack Bagram soon. The general said that Americans left behind millions of items, including thousands of civilian vehicles and hundreds of armored vehicles without keys, bottles of water, energy drinks, and military ready-made meals. They took heavy artillery with them, but left behind light weapons and ammunition. And then next, 2021's Durban July was truly a historic event. Now, Ashwin Reynolds of Cape Town says he's chuffed to be part of South Africa's history. Last Saturday, he became the first person from a previously disadvantaged group owning a horse which won Africa's major race, the Durban July. Now, 3-year-old Komet Daidung became only the 4th horse this century to win from the widest draw of all. Reynolds, a building contractor, has always loved horses. He grew up in Grassy Park on the Cape Flats and lost his father when he was 8, forcing him to leave school to work and help his mother. But he always cherished the dream of owning a horse which would win the July. He expressed his heartfelt thanks to the people of the Cape Flats for supporting and shouting for Komet Daidung. And about his horse's unusual name, he explained, and we quote, "It's Afrikaans slang from the Cape Flats. It means bring it on, as in I'm not scared, bring it on." Well, on that note, that is where I leave your final news headlines. Here is G with a final look at the sports headlines.
Gave me a few more grey hairs there. Let's start with rugby news this morning, and unfortunately not the best news. The fixture between the British and Irish Lions and the Bulls, scheduled to take place on Saturday, has now been postponed, and the second test between the Springboks and Georgia is also being reviewed now due to positive COVID-19 cases. So 4 Bulls players and 1 member of management returned positive tests, and then 4 Bok players, Marvin Ori, Frans Steyn, Andre Pollard and Frans Malherbe, along with head coach Jacques Nineva have all tested positive for the coronavirus. Onto the shorter format Rugby Sevens. Now, Springbok Sevens head coach Neil Powell has said his final team selection for the Tokyo Olympics was not easy, but he'll travel with confidence after choosing the fittest and healthiest team possible. Team South Africa's Rugby Sevens squad for the global showpiece will include Olympic bronze medalist Justin Geduld and the most experienced Blitzboks, Branko de Priya and Chris Dry. Then Saviwe Soizvapi has been named as captain, while Ruan Nel will travel to Japan as the backup player. Fourth-seeded South Africa will face Ireland, Kenya and the USA in Pool C. Now bringing it back home for football, the 67th minute goal by Swallows FC midfielder Kagiso Malinga confirmed a 1-0 victory for Bafana Bafana against Botswana in their CASAFA Cup Group A match at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium yesterday. Despite the victory, though, South Africa did not claim top spots in the group. That was because Eswatini beat Lesotho 3-1 earlier to go top of the log. So Bafana will now face Eswatini in their second group stage match on Friday at 3 p.m. at the Wolfson Stadium. Then staying with football, but on the biggest stage at the moment, Italy have done it. They have booked their place in the Euro 2020 final after beating a much improved and very spirited Spain in a hard-fought match at a packed Wembley Stadium last night. Federico Chiesa, he opened the scoring for the Azzurri at the hour mark, but Alvaro Morata equalized for La Roja, making it 1 apiece at full time. The match went into extra time, and Italy then eventually clinched the win in a penalty shootout, winning 4-2. So the winner of the second semi-final between England and Denmark will face the Azzurri in the final on Sunday, and the match between the Three Lions and the Danes will kick off at 9 p.m. this evening. Now onto athletics, and what a message to send out in an Olympic year. Akani Simbine set a new South African and African record in the 100-meter sprint at the 2021 Gulyani Estevan Memorial Meet in Hungary yesterday. The 27-year-old crossing the line in a phenomenal time of 9.84 seconds, beating the previous record of 9.85 seconds by Nigeria's Olusoji Vasuba. So Simbine finishing ahead of another prospective star at the Olympics, USA's Michael Rogers and Marvin Bracey, and former world and Olympic champion Justin Gatlin finished in 6th. That's a wrap of your news for this morning. Let's get one last take on the weather, get a global perspective and the temperatures here in South Africa.
Thank you, Graham. And just a quick update. Wildfires wreaking havoc in Australia, enormous mudslides in Japan, oceans temperatures on the rise. Climate change is a very present fact. It's also affecting bumblebees, the exclusive pollinators of certain plants, and a crucial presence on farms and in gardens. They are one of nature's best pollinators. Unlike honeybees, they are able to venture into colder weather, making them vital to the reproduction of plant species in cool climates. But these amazing insects are unable to cope with extreme temperatures, and as the world heats up, their populations are dwindling. We all can help protect these wonderful insects by rewilding our gardens, planting more trees, and creating log piles that gives them a shady spot to rest. Most important, they have no defense against the heat. They depend on us to take the sting out of climate change. And as many of our regular viewers have seen, we are highlighting different international cities on Fridays and to learn about the different languages and cultures. So this Friday, we are journeying to Ethiopia. With that being said, we would like to make a call to any of our viewers that are currently based there or have visited the beautiful country. We would love to see any pictures that you might have of Ethiopia that you would love to share with us. So please head on over to the Expresso Facebook page if you would like to see your photos featured this Friday. And bringing it back to South Africa, we do have some sunrise views of the local areas that we also would love to share with you that were submitted by our local viewers. Now, we started it off at 6 a.m. in Pretoria with Emil Kukamur, who shared this bright image of what looks like a typical crisp winter's morning for the area as the sun rises. Faisal Sherville didn't share his location, but we are loving this peaceful image showing off the sky transitioning from dark to light pink as the day begins. At 7 o'clock, we headed over to KZN, where Gavin Pollock from Port Edward shared this picturesque photo of the rocky shore as the sun continues to rise. And last but but not least, Minnie Kumalo from Ikopo shared this lovely photo of the sun rising over the horizon, showing off this slightly silhouetted image filled with some hues of pink and blue. Thank you so much for those gorgeous sunrise photos, and please continue to share your sunrise pics with us. You can do so on the Expresso Facebook page, and don't forget, if you live or have visited anywhere in Ethiopia, to also share those photos with us too. Let's take a final look at your temperatures for this morning. If you're in Polokwane, a sunny day ahead with a low of 6, a high of 20. Mbombela 10, reaching a high of 27. Pretoria 6 with a high of 20. Johannesburg 7, reaching a high of 17. Mahikeng sunny, 4 is your low, 21 your high. Klerksdorp 3, reaching a high of 20. Kimberley 8, 22. Bloemfontein 1, reaching a high of 24 today. Richards Bay 14, 24. Pietermaritzburg 7 with a high of 24. Sunny conditions in Durban with a high of 23. Mthatha 5, reaching a high of 23. East London 14 with a high of 20. Cradock 6, reaching a high of 22. If you're in Gqeberha today, a low of 10 can be expected and a high of 19. George 9, reaching a high of 18. Cape Town 9, 17. Worcester 9, 22. Sutherland 6 with a high of 15. And partly cloudy conditions in Uppington with a low of 12 and a high of 26 degrees Celsius. And that's where we leave your weather on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
So, Clem Chef has just walked into the building. It's stuck after the last culinary hotline. Now it's there. So you're back for another culinary hotline a little bit later. We're going to have some fun with that. We're exploring and celebrating chocolate today. So you're going to introduce us to, and I feel like I'm giving away the secret, but a hidden chocolatey center brownie.
It's love.
It is love.
Love is the hidden center.
It must have been love. He's also going to take us through all of his baking essentials, and then we're going to look at the values of eating chocolates. I don't mean like the upstanding values of eating chocolates, but I mean like the health benefits.
Can I get paid to eat
There is
chocolate?
a value in it. It means that you're a good person. No, there are some massive health benefits, antioxidants and things in chocolates. Megan Pence-Kleins is going to take us through that in just a moment. Dude, chocolate day, hey?
Yeah, as a chocolate person, I can say it's pretty amazing.
That came from Clem Chef's mouth.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Now, this morning we have been celebrating World Chocolate Day, as if we didn't need another excuse to indulge in our favorite treat, without any guilt, of course. But why does it taste so good? Well, we've brought along dietitian Megan Pence-Kleins, a good friend of ours, to tell us about the benefits of chocolate, because yes, there are benefits. A very good morning to you, Megan.
Good morning. It's lovely to be here.
It's so good having you in the studio. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of it, I love every single chocolate that you can get. And let me ask you, what is your favorite kind of chocolate? Is it dark chocolate, milk, or, I mean, there's so many. What's the top of your list?
I'm going to be honest. I prefer a milk chocolate if I have to, tell you which one I choose first. But if I'm here for the health benefits, it's going to be a little bit different.
I thought so.
You know, a lot of people feel like there are not a lot of health benefits when it comes to chocolate, but you are here to prove us wrong this morning. What would you say is the most helpful kind of chocolate, if that is something I could say, most helpful kind of chocolate?
No, absolutely, and there is. So what it is your darker your chocolate, the more cocoa solids it contains, which means it contains more antioxidants. Now, antioxidants, as we know, help to protect our body cells from free radicals, no breakdown, basically. And the antioxidants that we find in these cocoa solids, which is your darker chocolate, is called polyphenols. And the specific ones that we find in these dark chocolates are called flavonols. So yes, there is definitely some health benefits.
I think I'm going to go fetch it now. I'm like, do I take it out of my handbag now or later?
So let me ask, this is an interesting topic because obviously chocolate has a few ingredients that might not apply to everybody's diet, right? So for people that maybe have allergens or don't eat eggs and milk, can they still reap the benefits of chocolate and while still using alternatives?
Absolutely. What we just remember is that cocoa, as many people always joke, is actually a plant. So other plants, particularly your berries, for example, we find with certain of our leafy green vegetables, they contain, in actual fact, all our plants contain antioxidants, but these ones that I've mentioned in particular contain your flavonols. So they can be seen as an alternative. And you're correct in what you're saying. We mustn't lose sight of the fact that even though we have the cocoa solids, there is also added fat very often, added sugar, and so it's a high-calorie food.
Now, I just have to say this. So, because Megan, the dietitian, said it comes from a plant, chocolate's basically like a salad, right?
For sure.
So now we're all good. We can just eat salad. I'm only playing.
But also, I've been training quite often right now, and I usually, after a workout, I would grab a protein shake or just a protein drink or anything high in protein. But I heard that it's advised to eat or drink chocolate after a workout. Is this true? Is this a myth? Please give us more insight with regards to this.
No, you're actually right. There's studies that have been done on chocolate milk in particular. And what they found is the combination of the carbohydrate and the protein that you get in a chocolate milk is actually the correct ratio to help with muscle recovery post-workout.
Oh, wow.
Jamie's looking at me I'm getting a double chocolate milk after this.
But remember, quantity still makes a difference. So if you're going to be doing like a 45-minute workout, you probably don't need that much chocolate milk versus, going for maybe a 3-hour cycle or run. So we must also keep that in mind.
So after a good session in the mountains, maybe us hiking,
we can earn a double chocolate milk. I love that. Now listen, when we're talking about when we talk about chocolate, obviously there's this mental association with it. It's just like makes us feel good. It's maybe a guilt, a pleasure, or something of the sort. But how does chocolate actually better our mood?
Well, it's actually the combination of the polyphenols together with a little bit of sugar that goes in the fat. So it increases some of our feel-good hormones, things like serotonin, etc. And that's really part of that mood-enhancing effect that we get from chocolate.
Now, I would say a slab, but what is the ideal amount or quantity when it comes to how much you should consume a day?
So, I actually went and did a bit of research on that, and it's an interesting question because it depends on what health benefit you're looking for. So some of the latest studies are showing that around about 25 grams a day, particularly looking specifically at your dark chocolate, which tends to have more of the flavonols. But just remember that manufacturers do manufacture differently. So not all have the same amount of flavonols in them. And that's been shown to, for example, to be beneficial specifically to things like your blood pressure and reducing heart disease and cholesterol fighting, etc. So looking at some of the others, it more or less works out to be the same if you're looking at, different benefits. So I would say you can look at your berries first. You can look at having more plants. So at least your 5 servings of fruit and vegetables a day must come first. And then you can incorporate into that your 25 grams. But don't lose sight of the fact that you also need to have it as part of a healthy lifestyle.
No, definitely. All this talk has made me crave chocolate. I wish we had chocolate right now.
Okay, listen, guys. We're running out of space in the kitchen.
Oh, wow, George Clooney appeared with chocolate.
You're not allowed to eat this. I'm just going to leave it here because we've run out of storage space in the kitchen. So I'm just going to leave it there for safekeeping. Okay,
Nick's already told us this is a salad.
This is what I'm having
I'm
post-workout.
definitely in the wrong place.
Oh, Megan, thank you so much for schooling us, educating us on all the benefits of chocolate. You've given Jamie and I a reason to dig into this golden salad from the plant source kingdom. But of course, we're carrying on all the chocolate magic and all the baking right here on your Feel Good. Thank you, Meg, so much for all the info. And let's carry on with the baking goodies.
Well, Raul, the chocolatey goodness is going to continue because there's a really cool quote from food writer, chef and baker Mary Berry, who once said, "Cooking and baking is both physical and mental therapy." Now, I couldn't agree anymore, and just because we have something really special up our sleeves with Chef Clem joining us in the studio, because it is something that will boost your mood instantly. Now, Chef Clem, he is all about the baking. He knows all about the sweet treats, but we also need to know, when it comes to baking, what are some of those essentials that he needs to take his cooking and baking to that next level. Chef Clem, I'm loving everything I'm seeing in front of me, from the cool gadgets to the yummy ingredients.
Oh, this is delicious.
Okay.
Let's talk about this, because baking is a science. And you can get things wrong if you don't have the right equipment. And I see a lot of people, and me too, like sometimes we just like, when instead of using the correct tool, just jump for something else.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the essentials. Okay. A good mixing bowl, not just for baking, but cooking in general. But for baking, a glass one, I say, is essential. Put away your mom's Tupperware. It's not what you want. You want a glass bowl so you can actually see if you have any pockets of flour.
Ah, that's clever. This can go in the microwave?
It can go in the microwave, dishwasher, everything. And what I love about this one from Woolies is the fact that it has the lid that goes on top. So we're going to make some brownies. And if you have any leftover brownie batter, and you're not going to bake it immediately, you can actually put the lid on and in the fridge. Not have to, like, create more dishes, because sometimes with baking you use quite a bit of equipment.
Yeah.
Really, like a bit of dishes. This is what... Why
I
did
like
no
the
one
lid.
think about...
That's smart.
It's like so simple, right?
Yeah.
So then, next thing. A silicone spatula. So silicone spatula, especially when you're making batters or sauces, or like we're going to do now with our brownie, is important, because when you do scrape the last little bit of batter out of your bowl, you don't want to leave any behind.
Okay, but see, then I don't like that, because the whole point is I love what's left over for me to be able to lick the bowl.
Yes,
so
you
I think
love
kids
batter.
and Zoe will not be impressed with these, but these are good for you to make sure you get every drop out of
Every last drop. And you can kind of see, because it's silicone, it bends into the curvature of the bowl.
Oh,
so you're really not going to get any of those flour pockets as well. Flour pockets is just, you have this little beautiful chocolate cake and you cut into it, and then in the middle, poof, there's a little white flour pocket. You're done.
You're done.
You're done. You just crumble
you failed.
inside. Okay, so let's talk about, we spoke about the fact that baking is a science.
Yes.
Do not guesstimate quantities.
Not with baking. With cooking, you can guesstimate.
You can guesstimate when you're doing like normal savory dishes, hot kitchen, absolutely. When it comes to baking, be precise. And I mean precise, like I'm telling you, a little bit extra of a baking powder or a little bit too much flour will completely change your bake.
These are so cool.
These are so cool. And what I like, anything that's nesting, like a nesting set, that you can kind of like just pack them away, and then they live together. It's a little family. Daddy bear, mommy bear, baby bear.
Yes.
So,
it reminds me also of those Russian dolls. It's just the one goes in and it's
yes, absolute. Hey, yeah, I dig those. Another thing is what I don't understand, when people make measuring jugs, and again, I got all these from Woolies. These are my baking essentials from Woolies. When people make measuring jugs, they make it like white or red or blue. And then they stick the measurements on the inside. Now I get it. You can look inside to see where you're at. What's the point? Make it clear and have clear, like little indications of where you're at on the jug.
I need to get my mom these, because can I just tell you a story about my mom?
Tell me.
So she is someone that, you know, she loves what she has, and she doesn't replace it until it's completely broken or lost. So her measuring jug, which is plastic, has lost all its numbers. She's written with a Koki pen where 1 litre and 500 mils is. I have bought her one in 2017 that's glass. It's still in bubble wrap. She refuses to use it.
Moms,
I know, so maybe I should just get her the plastic ones. Maybe
get her the plastic one. Okay, so let's talk about mixing.
I mean, this is a beautiful machine.
Whisk. A proper whisk, okay? I can't explain to you, like, yes, it's quick to go to a fork and just scramble eggs with it, and you know, as you need to do, a whisk has a serious job. It aerates, adds air to things. I've seen people with whisks that have got like you know, like people just missing teeth. Like the whisks are just like, what happened? There's like 2 little wires and you expect it to do its job. No, get a good quality whisk and one that's quite like, it's not too soft, like this gives in. This is a proper whisk.
That will get you that air that you want in your dish.
Then when you become a grown-up and you really want to show off, you get a smeg, okay? And this does the job of, it's got the mixing bowl in there, it's got your whisking attachment in there, it's got everything. I mean, the fact that you can make bread in here with a dough hook from beginning all the way to the part where it goes into the oven. I love that. I like how you're stepping back, like things are about to happen.
I'm giving you some space so that this machine is beautiful, and you're about to show us how you make your own chocolate brownie recipe.
Yes, okay, so I love brownies because people don't know this. It's actually one of the easiest recipes to make. Put everything into a bowl and just let it do its thing. What I did with my eggs, I cracked them before the time, and then I...
Love how you're just adding everything here, minimal dishes.
No, I don't like dishes. So what I do is I always crack my eggs before the time. I don't add it straight into the bowl in case a shell gets in there. You're going to struggle to get it out. Then another thing about your measuring jugs, try and get them with a spout.
Okay.
So when you're actually working with it, you can easily pour batters or eggs or whatever you need into...
Is that a chefy thing to pour it onto the actual mixing blade?
Nah.
Okay, it was just you being
just
fancy.
Me. Okay. Then you get some chocolate. You got to get some chocolate in there. Can I ask you to open that up so long while I start mixing?
Let me get working on that.
Then, a good proper baking dish, okay, is also important. People use the weirdest things to bake things in. This is a proper baking, it's ceramic, but it is a proper baking dish.
Can I add?
You can add. You can go for it.
Oh, so we're just adding pieces of chocolate?
Just add pieces of chocolate. Okay.
There we go.
So we're going to fast forward. I'm not going to actually get to work with this batter now because we're running out of time. While you're busy adding the chocolate, can you guess what this is?
Is that to cut cake or bread?
Why did you know?
Because it looks like that.
So I wanted to sort of like take it the distance. Okay, absolutely. You use this to slice cakes. So often when people slice cakes, they get it uneven because they're kind of just eyeballing it.
And they go with a knife and it's difficult.
With this, you adjust the little blades. I don't know if you can actually see these little...
Yes, it looks like fish, but it's not.
It's not, but a little wire, okay?
Yeah.
Then what you do is you stand your cake down and you actually just kind of like work it through. And because it's all level, you get a perfect, like you can evenly slice your cakes. No more wonky sideways cakes, okay?
So, okay, I know we are rushing through this recipe, but we do have this recipe available for you.
Yes.
You can find it on taste.co.za. And if you are in need of all of these amazing baking equipment, it is available at Woolworths. You can shop it safely in-store, online, or on the Woolies app. But Chef Clem...
Do we still have time?
We're done, but you need to finish it because I need to taste it.
You bake your brownie. Here's the hidden center. It's caramel, right? Caramel goes in the hidden center, but you only bake half your brownie batter. Then you add your chocolate chips. Then you add your other half of the batter back on top. And then you literally put it back in the oven for 10 minutes, and the best part is the side pieces you cut out. Look how amazing this is. You taste this. I want the ends of the brownie.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's put it down so that the camera can see it. I'm gonna grab this one at the top. Oh my goodness. So there's brownie, caramel
chocolate cookie, brownie.
Okay, this is where my diet ends.
Right about now, Graham normally is like somewhere. So I'm gonna keep a piece aside because I don't know. Maybe,
I think I have chocolate all over my teeth.
Maybe Graham's off his chocolate game today.
Well, I think Graham needs to come and join us. Just remember, this recipe is available at taste.co.za. And all of these amazing goodies to make your baking easier is available from woolworths.co.za.
That was mine. Thanks. Welcome back as we continue to celebrate World Chocolate Day. Now, it's been said that 9 out of 10 people in the world love chocolates, and that the 10th person is always lying. Jokes aside, I think most people have their own chocolate preferences that trigger that all-important pleasure center in the brain, and that's why we love the following quote from American author and very good humor columnist Dave Barry, and he said this: "Your hand and your mouth agreed many years ago that as far as chocolate is concerned, there is no need to involve the brain." Well, we know that it does stimulate the brain as well, so we continue to celebrate chocolate on World Chocolate Day, and we've got some more amazing recipes coming your way.
Oh, well, listen.
I'm trying. Please don't go.
Jamie's getting cold. Hold on to your jersey. Thank you. That's okay, your beautiful cardigan.
Listen.
Did you just get in front?
I got in front. I was like, what? Let's just throw it out. Okay.
Well, it is time for us. You see, we're alive. These things happen, but we want to connect with you on social media, because this morning we asked you the question, what is the weirdest combination you've eaten with chocolate? Let us know.
We've heard watermelon. You spoke about popcorn. Let's find out what South Africa had to say.
Watermelon. Wow.
Yeah, that's it.
Mine's with popcorn.
Let's check. We had this one from Lorraine Mink was saying, salty popcorn dipped in dark chocolate as a topping on my chocolate cupcakes. Chocolate go, chocolate go, chocolate go, chocolate go, chocolate. That just sounds amazing and so good. We have one from Prince as well saying, good morning, Expresso team. Ever had chocolate pralines filled with salted caramel and wasabi?
Ooh.
Yeah, you eat crazy things when you travel. It's crazy, but it works. Also, chocolate and Pringles. Ooh, that's a good one. My favorite. The weird has to be chocolate and mustard. What? I don't understand that one. And then we also have Ntantla saying chocolate and yogurt. We've tried that on the show before. We've had chocolate yogurt melted. And then Chantal van Roy says choc on. She just says choc on? Well, oh, choc on bread.
Oh, I've had chocolate spread on bread before. That was quite, but it has to be fresh, warm bread. Unbelievable.
Butter. All of that.
There's some ones, I want to try the one with the wasabi. I think that could be a winner.
You try it and let us know, okay?
Okay. Well, why don't you let us know which are some of the weirdest chocolate combos you've had. Head on over to our social media pages and don't forget that hashtag Expresso Show.
Now, here is a great combo that you can have with your chocolate, and that's watching this. Now, we're back on the Expresso stage with jazz band Fusion Rhythm, and they're keeping that feel-good energy flowing as they perform the next song, Love is in the Air. Gentlemen, take it away.
Oh, yeah. Once more again. Hey, hey. Let me bring it on. It's a leisure now. Pretty much artificial. Cause you're giving me your love. Best on my tail. Baby, baby. Girls don't wait the data essential. Oh, yeah. You just want everything on us, sounds a little rational. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jealousy and relationship get a little emotional. I believe you and I, we can work it out. Oh, yeah. Heartbreaks, disappointment, decision making, without cause and man. There is no room to special sentiment. A lot of shit, less commitment. I say sometimes I don't even realize myself. Oh yeah, cause I just wanna say the truth. Yeah. I can leave or move on without you. Hey, yeah. Love is in the air. Hey, love is in the air. Love is in the air. Hey, love is in the air. Love is in the air. C'est chaud, c'est chaud, c'est chaud, c'est chaud, c'est chaud, c'est chaud, chaud. Everybody wanna dance tonight. Everybody wanna party tonight. Oh, everybody wanna dance tonight. Everybody wanna party tonight. C'est chaud. Come on, come on, come on. It's going down. Come on, come on. It's hot in here. Everybody dance, everybody dance, Everybody wanna dance tonight. Everybody wanna party tonight. 1, 2, 1, 2, bring it down.
Oh, you got me all up in the feels. Love is in the air. It's inside my body. It's inside your soul. And of course, Mzansi, stay tuned to the end of our show for one more awesome performance from Fusion Rhythm. La da da.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's for Men, enriched with triple glycerine. For 48-hour moisture and no stickiness. Ingram's, your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Yes, I have been eating the pretzels. They are too good, and there are so more. It's impossible, but welcome back. It's another installment of the Culinary Hotline. Bling!
Ting, ting, ting!
Yes, man. Shout it from the mountain tops. Clem Chef is back.
G-Chef.
G-Chef in the hizzy for Shizzy, because we love chocolate today.
Every day.
Every day. And this is a chance to have fun, but it's also an opportunity for us to perfect our chocolatier skills. And a lot of people are clearly grappling with chocolatey conundrums. So if you've got any comments or questions or anything that you want Clem Chef to answer, please. But it's World Chocolate Day today. So we are going to continue to support you in your endeavours to become the best chocolate producer, maker, baker people in the world. And we're going to have pretzels. Have you eaten a pretzel yet this morning?
No, because
don't do it.
Once you start, it's done.
Don't do it, man.
It's done. Actually, I like that you said we want to hear about your chocolate conundrums, because even as chefs, it happens. Chocolate will just turn on you.
Quite a difficult, especially when it comes to like tempering chocolates and that sort of thing. That kind of feels like lofty goals.
It's tricky. So if you do have any chocolatey little conundrums out there, little chocolate disasters, please call us. We won't laugh at you. We will laugh with you.
Because I can guarantee you, Clem's been through it. He has dealt with it. Okay, so I'm going to start here with some of the online questions that came through in conundrums. Nadine Spreeth said, "Hi, Chef Clem." And to me as well, I'm hoping. "Please show me how to make a delicious chocolate sauce to put over my ice cream. Thank you."
It's winter, right?
It is.
So, for me, the most decadent chocolatey sauce you can make for winter, besides a ganache, which is so simple, which is just cream and chocolate, the other one is a chocolate fudge sauce.
Oh,
right? Are you ready for this?
I don't know if I'm ready for
First thing first, put on stove.
Okay.
I was looking for the button. Where is it? Okay, so...
And then you have a pretzel here.
Then
At that
you
point,
reward
then you have a
yourself.
pretzel.
Every time you get a step of this recipe right, you reward yourself with a pretzel. So, in the pot, I've got some salted butter. I do get why bakers use unsalted butter. I get it, because they want to control the amount of salt that they have in their bake. But I've never eaten a salty cake. Just saying. So,
you don't need to.
Sorry, can you speak with all that pretzel in your mouth?
I will try to.
Salted butter. I've got salted butter in this dish. Another thing is, if you by just chance have unsalted butter at home,
don't add salt.
do add salt. Do add salt. Because the one thing that brings out the flavor of chocolate is a sprinkle of salt.
For sure.
So if you got your favorite chocolate milk,
well, it's like with caramel and things, salt actually elevates other flavors. That's why we use it so profusely in all of our cooking and baking, is because it's there to activate.
Absolutely. Okay. To the butter, we're going to add some sugar and then cocoa.
Okay.
There is a difference between good cocoa and cocoa. Get good quality cocoa. Obviously, we get ours from Woolies. Get the good, rich, dark stuff, okay? You want to, like...
So you want an intensity of flavor,
That's got to be like the essence of chocolate. It's got to be the
I was waiting for you to just throw some in the air. Just,
that would be horrible. Oh, like Jamie threw... No, we don't call people out.
Go onto our YouTube channel and have a look at Jamie's moment.
If you missed what we're talking about, go to YouTube and go and see Jamie just launching things across the line.
Tablets and jerseys, and it was spectacular.
I do it too. Okay. Just throw stuff around. That's what we do. It's live TV. Okay, cocoa goes in, and then the milk goes in. So what you do is you're going to stir it until that sugar is dissolved.
Okay.
By the time you're done stirring and that sugar's dissolved, you're going to have a beautiful chocolate fudge sauce. That goes into a jar. It's even spreadable. Okay?
Oh, good.
And that over pancakes, that over ice cream, because it's hot. And you can warm it up in the microwave for a little bit, just like 15 seconds just to warm it through. That over hot, I'm telling you, it is so good. The contrast between cold ice cream, hot fudge sauce is just like...
I love it. I absolutely love it. Whoa, hang on a minute. Hello, welcome to the Culinary Hotline Bling, ding, ding, ding. Graham here, who am I speaking to?
Good morning, Graham. This is Christina.
Good morning, Christina. I'm hoping you're really well this morning. What is your comment or your question, your conundrum for Chef Clem?
Graham, my question for Chef Clem is, what chocolate would you suggest I put on a pineapple cheesecake?
Okay, that's a very good question. So many choices. I'm going to ask you to repeat that. So, what kind of chocolates
would you suggest I put on top of a pineapple cheesecake?
Pineapple cheesecake, got it. Okay, so I've got this amazing book that's called The Flavor Thesaurus. So you get an ingredient and you look it up in the book and it tells you all the flavors and other ingredients that'll complement and bring out the flavor. And one of the flavors that complements pineapple is white chocolate. And if you think about it, white chocolate's got a slight vanilla-y taste to it, and it is creamy, but it's got this vanilla, tropical, right? We know that grows into the orchid pods. Pineapple, tropical, and it's weird. They grow together, they go together. Pineapple and white chocolate. So if you're gonna make an upside-down pineapple pineapple cheesecake,
yeah.
I would suggest all you do is just melt some white chocolate and do a little drizzle of that over your pineapple. It's gonna be delicious. If you want to be very next level, a little bit of cayenne pepper in your white chocolate.
What?
Pineapple loves cayenne pepper.
Really?
It's not going to be hot. It's just going to be like, what's that? Who's that? Where's she from?
Knock, knock, knock.
Cayenne pepper.
Christina, I hope that's given you some inspiration this morning. And tell me something, do you make the best pineapple cheesecake in Cape Town?
I sure do, Clem. Another question for you.
Go for it.
The crust of the cheesecake. Why is mine always hard? Am I using too much butter?
The what, sorry? The crust. Yes. So are you doing a biscuit crust in your cheesecake?
Yes.
So what happens is you can take down the quantity of butter because as that cheesecake cools down and as your base cools down, the butter's going to cool down. So you actually don't need that much butter to hold those biscuit crumbs together. So you can take a little bit of that out. Also keep in mind, if you're worried that, oh no, but now my crust is going to like crumble as I cut into it, there's moisture in your cheesecake batter and the biscuits are going to absorb that. And that's going to also solidify the structure of your biscuit cheesecake base.
It's all about that base.
All about the base.
Christina, you sound like a master baker who's well on her way anyway. So
Right?
thank you so much.
Can you make that pineapple cheesecake and just send us
little
our
sample,
address
yeah.
is.
But please, hey, and you've got to test it though. Put a little bit of the cayenne pepper in the white chocolate, and don't tell anyone, and see if anyone picks it up, because that sounds amazing. Christina, you're a legend. Thank you so much for your questions. Some great questions this morning.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever had with chocolate?
Egg and chili. Dark chocolate, grated on a fried egg with chili flakes. Absolutely phenomenal, bro.
No, that's pretty crazy.
Whoa, busy line this morning. Good morning, culinary hotline. Ding, 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 ding. Graham here. I added one extra thing because I'm that excited to hear from you. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Bonita Hendricks.
How's it, Bonita? I hope you're doing really well. What's your comment, your question, your conundrum for Chef Clem?
Well, some time ago, I ate some chili chocolate. It was almost like a samosa.
Okay.
But it had chili and chocolate inside.
Boom.
I want to try and recreate this taste, but I'm not sure what kind of chilies to use. Which would go best with chocolate?
Okay, great question.
Want to recreate the taste? So you had, what I'm guessing is you had like a chocolate samosa where they basically put like a chocolate sauce or a chocolate ganache or a chocolate piece of chocolate inside the spring roll or samosa pastry, and then they roll it up or fold it, deep fry it, and the chocolate melts inside.
Which sounds
Same
amazing.
thing like I spoke about with the white chocolate. I wouldn't recommend adding actual fresh chili to it. I mean, you could. It's just a texture thing. What you would use is cayenne pepper again. Bring in some cayenne pepper.
What about some smoked chili flakes?
I was about... Why must you steal my thunder?
I sucked it from your brain. I was looking at it and I just osmosised it.
Osmosised it?
From your
Like
brain.
it.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely, G. Some smoked chili flakes. And also, if you want to be a little fancier with it, cayenne pepper and a touch of smoked paprika, just to get that smokiness coming through, okay? But be careful, because paprika, a little bit, goes a very long way, and you don't want to ruin it. You just want to get the flavor of the chocolate. Another thing, if you're doing that, if you're adding chocolate, if you're adding like a little bit of like spices to your chocolate, make sure you use a chocolate that can hold up to the spices that you're using.
So would that be darker?
So like
Would
a dark chocolate, absolutely a dark chocolate. So 70% is always an absolute win. That's what I say. Oh, you want to take some chocolate fudge sauce?
Yeah, can I taste a little bit? Okay, I'm gonna... wow.
It was that quick. And like I said, you can, the longer you cook it, it'll get a little thicker.
So what makes it a fudge sauce? The sugar?
Because of the sugar and the butter, and it's rich and it's decadent. If you're in a bad mood
and the
or
mouth
you're having a bad day,
the mouth
right, it just coats your mouth.
Luxurious. You can imagine this counter playing off the icy cold ice cream. Oh,
yes.
Get out.
So if you're having a bad day, just go to the fridge, spoon of that. The endorphins, chocolate endorphins, you just feel like a new person. You feel happy, and you just...
Okay, so we've had our quota of geniuses on the line, so I'm closing the lines. I'm taking you off the hook for this morning. And now, if you've got any questions, just throw them online. We'd love to hear from you on social media. In fact, we've had a couple of questions come through. Roman Veingaard asking this, and I am really keen to know this as well. How do you temper chocolate? What do we mean by tempering?
Okay, so when people temper chocolate, it's quite a next level. That's culinary hotline level 3.
That's the fourth bling.
Fourth bling.
Ting, ting.
Yes. When people do that, it's usually because they're going to be using the chocolate as a decoration or to create things out of the chocolate. They're going to pipe chocolate, and they want it to kind of look beautiful, number one, and keep it structured. That's snap.
Okay.
So what happens is, and I honestly...
Because in cooking shows, they always talk about the snap.
The snap, right. I've tempered chocolate without a thermometer, and I've tempered chocolate with. It's always just best to use a thermometer.
Okay.
So you can get them, and I mean, it's one of those things...
There is a science behind it.
Yeah, one of those things that when you buy it, you'll give it to your grandchild, because they just lost in that little that miscellaneous drawer in the kitchen. You know, we all have that drawer in the kitchen.
Keep it in the weird box that it comes in, and it's
Yes,
cool.
absolutely.
Okay.
What you do is over a double boiler like we've got over here. Okay, this is for a different recipe. So what you're gonna do is get your chocolate over a double boiler, a little bit of water in there, a little hot now, hot spoon.
Okay.
Thermometer goes in there, and you want to bring it to 55 degrees. What you're trying to do is trying to break down those cocoa crystals inside the chocolate. Okay? 55 degrees, but now your next challenge is to cool it down dramatically, like really quickly.
Super fast, okay.
Take the bowl off, and you can start just folding it with a silicone spatula. Professionals, this is where you see they've got that marble, and we can actually temper directly on the counters, on our seasonal counters.
Surface quickly.
To drop the temperature of it. That's what you're trying to do. So you're trying to heat it up, drop it down. So you're trying to break up those cocoa crystals, cool it down, you'll see it becomes super glossy, super shiny, and when it does set, when you've done your beautiful art with it and you snap it, it's going to give you that.
Okay. 55 degrees.
55 degrees.
55 degrees. Okay, hopefully, Robin, that's the first step. Get yourself a thermometer. Don't play games.
Don't play games.
Beautiful stuff. Okay, and Geraldine Flatwell, just one last thing. I can never get my choc and cream mix right. Why not?
Okay, chocolate and cream, basically making ganache.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, okay?
Nice.
All you want to do is heat up your cream.
Okay.
So do it in a pot, do it in a microwave, it doesn't matter. What you want to do then is chop up your chocolates into bite-sized pieces of chocolate, then pour over the hot cream and just leave it. Leave it for a minute. There's enough heat in that cream to perfectly melt your chocolate. Then give it a stir. Once everything comes together, you've got a ganache. I know it sounds crazy. We've actually, last week we did
That sounds ganache.
It's a ganache. Last week we did a no-bake ganache tart. The recipe is on the Woolworths website. Go and check it out. That's a perfect quantity for ganache, and it sets beautifully, perfectly, every single time. We didn't even get to make everything chocolate bark. So you know what? We're going to do that for you next week or the week after, because you want to make a chocolate bark.
We might do it while you're not watching and just for our own benefit. Chef Clem, you're a legend, man. Hopefully that's answered all of your chocolatey-related questions. Thank you so much. Some great questions coming from you guys this morning. That's what the culinary hotline bling! Ting, ting, ting! All about.
If you eat, sleep and dream of baking, enter the Tastemaster SA's new season starting in September on SABC2. Grow your career in TV and as a baking influencer and stand to win 20,000 rands cash plus 50,000 rands worth of premium kitchen products. To enter, share a video of you baking a wonder you've created with tried and trusted Royal Baking Powder. Upload your video and complete your application on the tastemaster.co.za website. Entries close Sunday 25th July. T's and C's apply.
Hey.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso on S3, and we have to finish off the morning because for one more time we've had the captivating performances by jazz band Fusion Rhythm, and they are closing the show off for us this morning with a performance of their song called Africa.
Thank you very much. That cheese! Not... Ici ou d'ailleurs, hey, nous sommes tous les enfants d'Afrique. Partout là nous sommes, nous devons représenter l'Afrique. Africa, cradle of mankind. Africa, oh my baby, the soil of Mandela. They swell of Lumumba. They swell of Kwame Nkrumah. This is our land. We need peace. We need love. We need peace. We Africa, mama. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Fusion Rhythm going out right now. Thank you.
Val, gentlemen, please take a bow, you legends.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal. Oh,
There
man.
we go.
That's one way to
love
get you in the
that.
feels, eh? This just energy gets sent into your body. You can't not move to
They
this.
did fine. I had my dance on earlier with my apron on. I was just going crazy. But, you know, so often we hear, oh, unique sound. But these guys have a completely unique sound.
Definitely.
There's the one genre we didn't mention. There's even a bit of reggae in there. There's a lot of funk. There's a bit of R&B. There's some hip-hop. There's obviously the jazz and the soul. They have everything. And it's just an awesome group of guys.
The only thing you could add to that is chocolate.
No, I'm trying not to look. I'm literally doing this so that I don't
Rock
look
and
at this
roll.
chocolate.
Have you recovered from throwing everything all over the place?
Jamie wanted to go stand there at the back.
What are your
to stay away
Do you
from
want to
the
throw any of this around?
No, leave me alone.
Please.
I'm still getting cold. Maybe I should have a bit of chocolate.
Don't,
I think
I'm
the
worried.
chocolate will warm you
gonna
up.
throw it at the camera or something. But yes, we have celebrated World Chocolate Day today, and it's been spectacular. We're all on pretty hectic kind of health
Meal
routines at the
plans.
moment and meal plans and things. So today has been a test. One that I've failed.
Did you fail?
Did you fail?
You know what?
I've been having little snacks here and there just to taste test. You know?
It's in moderation. So you know what? This is a lifestyle. So
Yeah?
you had a little bit, but now you're done, right?
Thank you.
There we go.
You like the little Zoe on my shoulder saying,
Now you've had your bit, now you're done. If you eat more, dan is jy uitgevreet.
Look, I know we all loved our chocolate. We had our favorites. I know Mzansi had some favorites too. We got some comments coming through as well, which has been incredible. Daphne saying chicken is one of my favorite restaurants. I had chocolate chicken, which was yummy. Wow.
No.
I've heard of a
Added to
chocolate
the list.
steak.
I see Alicia says, Alicia says chocolate and chili, which I think is really
That's
great.
yes.
Chocolate with a creamy rooibos tea. What? I mean, crazy combinations. I'm still going with the watermelon and chocolate. You guys need to try that. It's a
Please
banger.
bring it for us sometime.
Okay.
When
And
it's
then put some
watermelon
chili
season.
in that chocolate and think about the hot, cold, absolutely beautiful. We love chocolates. We love you guys just as much. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Adios.
Adios.
Bye.
Say it with steaming hot breakfast, soul food Sundays.